Every Saturday night, we gather around a little town bar or someone's house here in town. We talk about life, the highs and the lows, but we skip over the things that make us foes. We talk about just near anything, laughing about the little things. Leave religion at the door, but we'll pray for you. Politics might sneak in when the world ain't true, but mostly it's just friends, me and you. Talk about work and the times we missed, old friends, new laughs, things we can't resist. The funny things people say, the craziest sights. Life's better when it's shared every Saturday night. We talk about just near anything, laughing about the little things. Leave religion at the door, but we'll pray for you. Politics might sneak in when the world ain't true, but mostly it's just friends, me and you. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, don't be late. Come for the fun and leave a little late. Life's too short, don't you know? Gather around, let the good times flow. We talk about just near anything, laughing about the little things. Leave religion at the door, but we'll pray for you. Politics might sneak in when the world ain't true, but mostly it's just friends, me and you. Saturday nights, they feel so right. A little laughter, a little light. So join us now, it's time to begin. Every Saturday night, let's all jump in.
Hey, Greg, how we doing?
Hey, Dave, what's going on?
Not much. What do you think about that new song?
That's pretty good. I like that.
I wrote that one night sitting up here going, well, we got to get more information out here for the channel and whatnot. And I was like, all right, well, let's do this then.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, Short-Handed Homestead, how you doing?
I know Troy was in here a little while ago.
Yeah, I think he's coming in right now. There he is. I knew he was going to come join us. I invited Mike to come join us tonight, but I don't know if he will or not.
Hey, there's Troy.
What's happened to the Three Musketeers?
Not much. I miss the Arkansas weather.
I'm sure y'all do up
weather
there.
too.
It's 25 degrees right now. I'm like, man, I wish I was down there where they're getting 60, 65 still for most during the day anyway.
Yep. I don't know what it is. The temperature is here. It just says cold advisory.
If you got a computer, look down at your bottom left corner. It should tell you the weather.
That's where it said cold advisory.
Mine says maybe an inch of snow in the next 2 hours. I don't know.
Yeah. I know Monday morning or Monday night at 8 o'clock. Well, Monday morning at 8 o'clock, it's supposed to be 10 degrees before before the wind chill factor.
Right. Yeah, I think they're getting hit harder than we are now, actually.
Yeah.
You got more coming.
Yep.
Yeah. I just had to draw out more money. I just had to draw out more money to pay for my snowplow guy. I missed him last time he was here.
Yeah.
He showed up. Leo left for work at like 6 o'clock, quarter after 6, something like that. And he showed up at 6:30. And I heard him right at the very end. So I jumped out of bed, got dressed, grabbed the money, went out to pay him, and he was pulling out of the driveway. And I was like, all right, I'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
I don't mind, you know.
Actually, we're lucky. Right now it's 32 degrees. So
28 here.
25 here. Which isn't bad, you know.
No.
I mean, I can deal with, 25 to 35 is awesome for wintertime. But some cold days I don't like.
Yeah.
Or the real windy days. Holy crap. Today was windy. Tomorrow. Yeah. Today was real windy. I actually most of the time when you see these guys working for Salvation Army out there as volunteers ringing the bell, the guy in front of Walmart today, he's the first one I've seen that actually had the bell in his hand and was ringing it. And I was joking around with the girl at the register. I says, I don't know about how that guy's surviving out there because that wind is blowing right straight across the front of the store. So he has no place to get out of the wind. If that were me, I'd be out there like an Indian. I'd be out there asking for rain or something and jumping around just trying to keep warm. That's cold.
Well, hey to all y'all in the chat and everything. Glad you're here. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I like it when people join us. I was going to show you guys something that I built, and I didn't grab it, but I'm getting ready to cut the front bull nose off the front of my stair treads coming upstairs because I'm going to overlay the stairs with cherry.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, it took me the longest time to try to figure out how can I mark where the riser is from one step to where I need to cut it off on the step above it. And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it. And I mean, I got all kinds of cool tools. And I was like, but they don't work for this kind of an idea of a project. So what I found was that if you cut two pieces of 2x4, like the bottom one they're like 7-inch risers. Yeah. So as long as it's less than 7 inches long, and then just screw that to a piece of 1x material or whatever you got handy.
Yep.
That'll tell you where that riser runs across the face of the step. I said, well, then I'll just take a shorter piece of 2x4, put it on top, and then I can use that to mark the edge, you know?
There you go.
And so I got out my carpenter's pencil, and I started marking steps. And the problem is these steps have like tar paper on them, so it's black. And you have to be at the very right angle to be able to see where that line is at. And I'm like, all right, well, there's got to be an easier way to mark these steps because that's definitely not working. I tried a silver Sharpie marker. And I'm black, you can't see it. I tried a gold one because I was thinking, well, maybe that'd be a little better. I'm black, you can't see it.
You gotta have silver.
I tried silver, I tried gold, and I tried a carpenter's pencil, and I'm like, all right, there's got to be another way. I found out that I have a battery-powered Dremel.
Oh,
and I went to Lowe's and I said, I need something that's like a pencil point on a Dremel,
right,
where I can just put it on the edge of the wood and just draw the line across. And they hooked me up with one. It was like $13 for the bit.
Yeah,
but I mean, you could use it for carving. I'm not a carver. I got all kinds of carving tools and stuff, but I'm not a wood carver.
Yeah,
I got that 25-foot stump out in my yard. That would be a great little thing to like turn into a huge eagle or something like that.
Right.
Or even a wolf, you know. But I'm not a wood carver. I won't pretend to be, but I wish I could be.
Oh shit!
I'm talented.
Yeah, there's a couple of people on Facebook that I watch. Whew.
Oh, now there is some very nice carvings.
I've reached out to about 4 of them so far, saying, "Look, I'll give you a place to stay while you're here working on it. You come in, you create your piece of art on that tree stump, however you want to do it, make it look good, and I'll let you advertise it. And then when it's all done, we can cut it off and auction it, and you get all the proceeds from the auction. You know, it's going to be your time, your gas, your chainsaws and stuff, and whatever you're using for it."
But you got free room and board, though.
Yeah, I'll give them free room and board while they're here working on it. It shouldn't take them more than 3 or 4 days.
Mm-mm.
I do see some of them doing these shows and stuff where they don't even need 3 or 4 days. They can do everything in like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. Well, down here, of course, we got more people do that down around here because we've had a lot of the yuppies move in.
All right.
Doing their crafts and stuff, and but probably more than what y'all have up there.
Actually, I got a local guy. Well, not local to me now because I moved, you know. But where I lived before, like before we bought the house back in 2019, there was a guy that was up there doing it, and he worked right out of a wood yard. So he would just go in and say, well, I need this piece of wood, and he would just carve anything into it with the chainsaws and his carvers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'd like to get this guy, but the problem is he doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
He's like Yugoslavian or something like that. I don't know, but he doesn't speak English. I was like, how am I going to tell him what I want?
Show him a picture.
Yeah, I'm not that good of an artist.
Yeah. Well, it's like my buddy up the road up here who was their family adopted me when back in the high school, and they took me in when my parents were having difficulties. He has a gun shop up there, and the post on the front of his shop are all carved bears, and that is every post
Really?
to go into.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
it's got a beautiful place. But
Yeah. Well, this tree stump is 25 feet tall, and I'm gonna say it's at least 30 foot or 30 inches in diameter.
yeah,
They can cut it off wherever they want. I'll even let them use my chainsaw to cut it off if they want. Make it as tall as you want. Make it whatever you want. I don't care. I thought it'd be really, really cool because of its size. It'd be really cool to have somebody like carve out Trump with the fight sign.
yeah, yeah.
Stain it or do whatever you got to do. It's an oak tree, so it's not that hard to work with.
Yep.
And it's red oak, so it's even easier than a white oak would be. I don't know. I haven't been able to get anybody interested in it, but I have tried.
Yeah. Well, my surgery went well this week.
Yeah.
And of course they done everything, and there's what all they did. There's words that I cannot spell or even pronounce. They're about yay long.
Yeah, which basically means you're going to have 75 side effects.
Yeah. What can you just say? Well, you got an inflamed esophagus. You got this.
Right.
You got that. Took biopsies for this.
Yeah, it would make sense, but they don't do that.
No.
They got to have all these fancy terms and stuff. Nothing's done in layman terms.
No.
My foot doctor was that way when I shattered my heel. He's in there talking about all these different bones that are inside of your foot, and I'm like, just say, okay, it's your foot.
Yeah.
I know what my foot looks like. I have no idea what the bones are that you're talking about.
Well, it's like when I was coming out of the anesthesia and everything, and the nurse was like, okay, well, you're good. You need help getting dressed? Well, maybe. She's like, well, you're a little bit more loopier than people usually are. I said, well, I have a sinus infection with chronic vertigo. She said, well, why didn't you tell us that? We could have rescheduled that. I said, because y'all been rescheduling this for the past year, and I wasn't going to tell y'all shit.
Right. Yeah. Just get it done. Yeah. I hear you.
So I've been dealing with that for the last 3 days. I'm getting around on the walker because that messed everything up.
Right. Well, it's like Leah. Leah was supposed to go to the hospital to get a blood lab done.
Yeah.
And the first time I took her to the hospital, they said they didn't have a work order for it. So then I took her back to her doctor's office like a week later. And she told him, she says, look, you guys never sent the work order for this over to the hospital, so they won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So then they sent us back over again. So it was like the 2 Saturdays later, we go back and they were like, yeah, we can't do it today because you came too late in the day. We're only open till noon and you showed up at 1:15. It's not enough time.
Right.
I was like, all right, whatever. We'll schedule it for next weekend. We'll go back. So we go back and they said, yeah, no, there's nobody here that can do it. And I'm like, you're a freaking hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a hospital. You don't have anybody here that can draw blood? That's a simple nurse project right there. You know what I'm saying? But they wouldn't do it.
Give me the stuff. I can do it right now, really quick.
It depends on what the doctor ordered.
Well, I took her back today to get it done, and she wasn't in the hospital more than 8 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, you didn't have time in 15 minutes to do it, but she wasn't in there for a total of 8 minutes.
Yeah.
it's like with her ankle. She's having problems with one of her ankles is all swollen up, and her foot doesn't sit level on the floor anymore or whatever. And she went and she had X-rays done. Never heard back from the doctors that did it at all. Period. And they sent us a letter stating, "Well, we tried to get a hold of you, but because we couldn't get a hold of you, we canceled everything." And I'm like, "What do you mean you canceled everything?
Yeah.
What time did you try to get a hold of us?" Oh, they never did. There was no voicemails. They'd be like, "Okay, well, I tried to call you, but you didn't answer your phone." Well,
they
leave a
don't want to
voicemail.
be wrong, so they want to make you wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it was. I went up Tuesday morning. The DAV van picked me up out here at the house and took me all an hour away up to the VA hospital to go in. That only thing they had to do to put a IV bag in me. That way to ensure that I was good hydrated for the next day. While I was sitting there getting the IV put in, the nurse called from the that was doing the surgery the next day. She says, "Well, your appointment's at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Just want to let you know. Do you want me to call down to ensure that the van will pick you up tomorrow, or do you want to just tell them whenever when you're ready to leave, to take you home?" I said, "Well, you got more clout than I do, so yeah, you call."
Yeah.
And so she called down there, and it wasn't a minute later. She called me right back. She said, "I don't know what's going on. They said there's no record that you ordered for the van to pick you up tomorrow, even though we filled the paperwork out last month, and I was with you when we set it down there. And so they have to have 30 days notice to pick you up." I was like, "Oh, that's kind of messed up because I was there that day after that appointment was made."
Right.
And so she said, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you can go down there and talk to him, but let me call down there again." And so she called down again, and the guy that drove me up there heard the conversation, and the lady that schedules the drivers and stuff. He had overheard the conversation, and he said, "That's bullcrap." He said, "I will rearrange my schedule. That way I can pick him up and get him up here for that surgery. The boy needs the surgery. He's been waiting for almost a year."
Yeah.
And
How old was he? He's calling you a boy.
it's about my age. And
Thanks, Dad.
yeah, but it's like you're in the same boat. It's the VA system, and the DAV does all the shuttles and everything. You would think that they communicate back and forth,
Right.
especially since one was planned before the other one. But no.
They won't let you go to your own doctor.
They would, but what y'all know where I live at.
Yeah.
There's nobody to go in to do
Oh,
that type of surgery and stuff, even though it's just a
Yeah.
day surgery. Is the Beckley VA? It's only an hour away, but that's the closest. Other than that, it's 3 hours away.
wow.
We're
Yeah,
down.
that's kind of like Gary.
Salem or Roanoke.
Yeah, that's kind of like what Gary's going through.
Yeah, or all the way down to North Carolina, down to Duke University.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I know, like when I had my foot operated on and stuff, when I had the infection from the titanium, I was allergic to it.
Right.
I found out that there's a 15-minute test they can take to find out whether you're allergic to titanium or not, that they don't give anybody. They just go ahead and install it, and then they find out you're allergic to it afterwards. But I ended up going to get my blood drawn, and then it was like maybe 4 days later, I had to go back over to Ithaca to get an MRI.
Right.
And I was almost home from that MRI. I was going to stop at the doctor's office, but it was snowing like crazy, and I was following a tractor trailer, and it was the only way I could see the road. So I was like, I'm staying behind this guy. Screw stopping at the doctor's. Plus, there was a bunch of cars off the road right there by the doctor's road. So I just kept driving home. I got almost all the way to my driveway. I mean, we're talking not even a quarter mile from my driveway.
Yeah.
And they called me up and said, well, you have to be at the hospital. You have to be at the hospital tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. But first, you have to go back to Pyramid Mall in Ithaca, be tested for COVID. And I was like, my local hospital is 15 minutes from where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be down over to Ithaca Hospital because that's part of the Guthrie Clinic, or part of the Huga Health Clinic.
Yeah, it's in
the one in Cortland is Guthrie. Yeah, the one in Cortland is Guthrie. Well, you can't get it tested at Guthrie and then send the results to Huga. Yeah, I have to have it done at a Huga facility. And I was like, you don't understand the snowstorm. I just drove home to get there. So I ended up, driving all the way back, getting it done. And then when I got back from there and they told me when the appointment was going to be for going to the hospital the next morning, I called the insurance company and I told them I need a ride. They told me I am not allowed to drive to and from this appointment.
Right.
And, you didn't give us enough forewarning. Well, they didn't give me any, Yeah. I ended up having to hire my employee to take me to the hospital.
Yeah. Well, that's how it was too. The van picked me up and tucked me up there. But since I was under anesthesia, they would not release me to the driver.
All right.
So my niece, actually, she got off work at noon that day, and she had to drive up there through a snowstorm. And when she got there, she was there probably about 11 minutes whenever I came out of surgery. Of course, it's a 30-minute wait period before they were releasing everything. But
minimum.
Yeah.
It might be 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, that's when they were like, oh, you shouldn't be acting like this. Well, because I didn't tell you everything was matter because I wanted this stuff done.
Right. I laughed because, like my doctor, I had a private home nurse through the insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
And she was doing blood draws every week and stuff. And we were talking about different things. And she says, well, you need gabapentin. And I was like, all right. My doctor would not prescribe me gabapentin. And I told him right straight out, I says, dude, this is not something that you are like automatically addicted to or something. It's just a pill for taking care of nerve damages and stuff.
Yep.
He would not give it to me.
Greg knows all about gabapentin.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't give it to me. So there was one time where I went to the doctor's office and it turned out to be that my doctor wasn't even there for my appointment. But they didn't tell me until I got right to the office. And I said to him, I says, well, is he the only doctor in this office? And they said, no.
Hey, David.
This lady Erin is here. Hi, David.
Hey, David.
So this lady Erin's here. She's a doctor. And I said, well, can I see Erin then? And they're like, yeah, we can let you see Erin. So I go in and I see Erin and I told her, I says, well, look, my home nurse told me I needed gabapentin. And Macaulay won't give it to me for some reason. I don't know why. And she says, well, that's BS. So she wrote me out the prescription right there on the spot, handed it to me. And she says, it'll be ready at Walgreens when you get back to Cortland.
Yeah.
And I got it. I couldn't take it, but I got it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you want to sleep your life away, take gabapentin in the morning. You get out of bed, you take one. You're not supposed to do it on an empty stomach. So you might like eat a small bowl of oatmeal or something.
Yeah.
And you take the gabapentin, within an hour, you're right back in bed again, and you won't be back out till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then they wanted me to take another one at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Well, I was taking 400 milligrams of gabapentin 3 times a day.
Yeah. See, I couldn't do it. It was putting me to sleep.
Yeah. I take 300 milligrams. They want me to take 1 in the morning and 2 at night.
Right.
I don't do the morning because
I didn't do any of them after the first trial on that. I was like, yep, I'm not sleeping my life away.
Right.
It's not
And then-
happening.
And then two, found out that it was counteracting other medications I was on and other things, and it was really killing me.
Yeah, David Blunt, you're right. And they still use it for seizures.
Yeah,
But now they use it also for nerve damage.
right.
Yeah, probably among 4 or 5 other things too, from what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like ivermectin, you know.
Yep. Well, it was back in December, well, 2 days before January the 1st, whatever that is. And I went when I had that problem and ended up took to the hospital and everything. They seen gabapentin was in my past prescription. They had me in a bed with pads all the way down. The only thing they didn't have was me strapped down to it. Says, well, we said you had a gabapentin, so we figured it was seizures.
Yep.
No. And when you wake up at 3:00 in the morning, not really knowing where you're at, and you're tied into a cocoon type thing, and that's usually the time you get up to go to the bathroom. Things don't work out right.
All right.
I mean, I get up 3-4 times that night.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have to guide myself because it does. Everybody is different. Medication reacts different to everybody.
Yeah.
But I mean, I take something for restless leg. I take gabapentin. I take Zoloft, and I take a cholesterol medicine. I take them all at night. I don't take any medicine during the day because, especially the gabapentin makes me loopy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even in the morning when I first get up, I'm a little loopy.
Yeah.
But I get my wits, and what I've been noticing lately is like if I'm active and I get hot, I gotta stop. Yeah. I have to come in, lay down, and stop because it's almost like your blood pressure drops.
Yeah.
Almost to that extent.
It's called old age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave. And so it messes with you. I know here in New York, the thing is, it's not a federal law. If you take gabapentin, that disqualifies you unless you take it for seizures.
Yep.
Right.
From having a CDL. In New York State, it disqualifies you.
Right.
That's why my doctor said no more driving.
Yeah, which is funny because they give a license to people that don't even have a last name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a whole different.
I mean, my father-in-law takes it for his back. My wife takes it for hers. And I mean, I take it for mine, but I will not let them cut me open at all.
Well, I took it for my neuropathy.
Yeah.
And I was so sick on it, mainly that I finally just said, I'll deal with the neuropathy rather than being sick 24 hours a day.
Yeah, it does help, but I can tell throughout the day that, not taking it in the morning, that it does affect it. My back still bothers me.
Right.
I mean, when I lay on my stomach, my whole back goes numb. I can't even feel it.
Yeah.
All right.
Right down the spine. I can't even feel it. Usually, when you move or whatever, you can feel it. But
I found with me, because of the injury I had to my foot, I have a really bad case of arthritis in the ankle now because it was immobilized for so long.
Right.
Yep.
And if I don't sleep with a pillow between my legs, I'll get up in the morning. I can't even walk.
I'm the same way. But after I had the stroke, I spent 2 years in a wheelchair. completely immobilized from the waist down. And so,
Yeah. What are you hiding over there, Dave?
What's that?
I said, what are you hiding over there?
I got my butt running.
yeah.
I'm just trying to keep it out of view.
Oh,
Be nice.
Yeah, YouTube
Don't
don't
matter.
like that.
Well, YouTube really doesn't care. I mean, look at
I
Gary.
know.
Gary Skuse will smoke a
yeah.
cigarette in almost every one of his videos. He don't care, and YouTube don't care. But there are people that do, like David Warren.
No, wait.
Oh, he
Did you
blew a gasket when he seen I was smoking cigarette. Okay, now I got to start all over again. I didn't know you were smoking. Well, what the hell difference does it make? It's me. It's not you.
Exactly.
You know. And I watch him hit the puffer.
I like David, but did you see his video today? The one where he helped Mike?
Yes. With the
Did you
ditch
see him sitting on the tractor?
when he was filling the ditch.
No. Before that.
No, I haven't.
I'm not going to say what he did, but he.
Yep.
And you saw it come out. So.
Yeah.
I've watched Gary and Melanie do it. I've watched Anthony and Roxanne do it.
You know, I look at it.
I've watched David do it, and it's like, okay, you guys are all hypocrites. If you think you're hiding something from us, you know, you're walking around with it in your hand for one. It's not like they're so small you're going to miss them.
I understand people say my channel is supposed to be a family-oriented channel. Fine, I understand that, but don't be. And I say this about everybody, including myself. You know, you guys, be real.
Yeah,
exactly. We had that conversation on the way out
on the way
back.
Yeah. You got to be real. And
I actually was blown away on that trip. I seen things I didn't think I'd see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something that because of, you know, who they are or whatever, that I would have expected as being a major part of their life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it kind of blew me away a little bit, but then I found out there's an awful lot of people that are that way that hide everything on YouTube.
You can't. In my opinion, if you think that's why people get criticized so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to criticize you either way, but people aren't stupid.
Mm-mm.
You know, people see things and catch things when you don't think they're doing it. They're catching you doing something.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, if I'm working and I'm videoing and my butt crack shows, so what?
Yeah, that just means he's doing plumbing.
One too, so I got one. So.
I'm a big guy, you know, and it's gonna happen.
You know what they say? Assholes are like opinions. Everybody's got one.
Yeah. I mean, you just you go with it. If nobody watching my video, I don't care. It's not to, I'm not. I mean, I'd like to get to the point where people, I can do these reviews or what have you, but I'm not stressing about it.
Well,
I'm not.
Just like that. Just think right now. We would have never known each other if it wasn't for that trip.
Yeah.
And
if it wasn't for Lauren.
Yeah. Well, Greg and I kind of were getting to know each other before the trip.
Yeah.
But I had never heard of y'all. Y'all have never heard of me.
No.
But you drove from
New
York down here to West Virginia.
Hi, Wanda.
And hey, Wanda. And we've all went out to Oklahoma, and we are best friends now.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll tell you what, that trip was like a brother building trip because of Mike. With Mike and Lissa and all of us hanging out there and helping them do some things, even though we didn't do what we were supposed to do.
That's because Lissa had the screws in the car.
Yeah, well, but the shells got delivered. If he would have had the 2x4s and the sheetrock, we could have gone in and had that all ready for them to move into,
Oh, yeah. But, hey, and worked on the tractor and got the hot wire.
I'm going to tell you guys ahead of time. Yeah. I am planning on going down to 10 killer, depending on the dates.
Right.
But I don't think I'm going to stay there. I think I'm going to make it a drive back. Not to New
I'm not
York.
down. I'm up.
Right. Are you talking driving down and then driving back, or
No, I'm going to drive down. And then, I mean, if you guys want to stay there, you can. I might go and help some people out with stuff
Right.
they need to get done.
right?
You know, because I mean, it's nice to go the one day where everything's happening, and then that so be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually think I would like to skip those days when everything's happening because it doesn't happen with us. You know what I'm saying? We go in and we're like a third wheel. But if somebody's doing something like Mike and Lissa right now working on the shelves, I'd be more than
Right.
happy to be there giving them a hand on stuff like
That's what I'm
that.
saying. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I think it would be more productive.
Okay.
You know, to go hang out. You know,
Help those in need.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Well, that was really enjoyable.
yeah, it
Those
was.
days
It was.
We was there with Mike.
Except
and Lisa.
David almost knocked the tent over, but it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, except for Greg was trying to break both of our shoulders.
Well, that,
Yeah.
well, when Greg's trying to ride the pole in the center of the tent, it's or
Well,
David.
you know,
I'm sorry,
That was Dave.
David.
Yeah, I got to be the guy with the pole between his legs. Come on now. Ain't nothing worse than sleeping in a teepee. I don't care.
Actually,
One person on each side with a pole, right in the darn middle.
I still have that tent.
It's a cool tent.
I like that tent.
That was
It's big, easy to
Yeah.
set up. I liked it.
Yeah.
And actually, I've been thinking about getting. I want to get 2 of those to get to my nephews.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still looking for a Class A.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to have an old military tent. You know, the ones that had the wood stoves in the
Oh
corner.
my god.
One of those sold a couple of weeks ago at an auction that I usually go to, and you would not believe how much it was.
That'd be $500.
Nope,
No,
not even
What?
close.
less or more.
$25.
Really?
Really?
Everything was there.
Wow.
If you ever run across that again, just go on and get it and just say, Troy, I need some money.
Yeah, David Glunt, that's the way I am. You know, I'm good at drywall. I've done drywall almost all my life.
Oh yeah.
And for me to go in and help him do stuff like that, I mean, I understand he's got his new friend there that's helping him out with like going in and texture and stuff. I got the texture gun and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, the difference is they live in Arkansas, I live in New York. So
Exactly.
Rwanda, there you go. I'm up here. I'm not down there.
When I turned 13 years old, the day I turned 13 years old, my dad he worked in he was a foreman over the electrical section of minor machinery company, and he done that during the day. But as soon as he got done with that, he was going in and wiring houses and stuff. And the day I turned 13, he grabbed me up literally by the back of the neck and said, "Boy, it's time for you to start learning a trade."
Yeah.
And he took me there, and I was running wire and doing that. By the time I was 15, I was co-contracting out the wire houses.
I actually was sent to college by my parents to learn how to do that because they used to buy old houses and remodel them.
Yep.
And that was the one thing that nobody really understood was the electrical part of it.
Yep.
They'd hire a friend of theirs that was an electrician for the local school.
Yep.
And he'd come in and do it. But like my dad said, it costs money to hire people to come in and work from outside of the family. Or if it's somebody in the family, you can just say, okay, yeah, what do you want to have done? I can do that. But they sent me to school to learn it.
Yeah.
And then when I started working at the chemical plant, they sent me back to school to learn it wasn't really electrical engineering, but it was real close to it, where you learn how to do a lot of things with like low voltage and learning how to do controls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I had a great time. I mean, I spent probably 12 hours a day, 3-4 days a week studying and taking tests and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I did everything from like burglar and fire alarm systems. I actually have a degree for that.
Yeah.
To the low voltage controls for chemical plants and stuff, all the way to wiring houses and stuff, just because that's the way my life played it. And I'm big on electronics. I mean, I had a computer store for years, so I'm big on that kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah. Well,
But
at the same time, we were actually building a house up here behind my house, up here on Hillcrest Estates, more affectionately known as Snob's Knob. We built a house up there, and he hired the guy that he was working construction with just to come in and just dry everything in the entire house.
All right.
And then we went up there. He took me and my brother up there. He said, "All right, this is your room. This is your room.
Get her done."
Yeah. So we had to wire it. We had to insulate it, and we've done all the drywall and finished it out. That was our job.
That's the way my parents were. And then my brother Donnie, who passed away, he was the guy that was a roofer, but he was also a cabinet maker.
Yeah.
So I spent an awful lot of time in my dad's 2-car garage with him, just building cabinets and stuff for people. Yeah. And it freaks people out. I mean, I'm getting ready to do my new island downstairs. That island's going to be freaking huge.
Yeah.
The top is going to be 45 inches wide and 7 feet long.
Yeah.
And then the cabinets are going to be 2-sided. So you can, one big cabinet, the regular 24-inch standard cabinet on one side, and then the other cabinet on the other side would be like an 18. Yeah. And everybody's like, well, how do you know how to do this? Well, because I kind of had to grow up doing it, but also because like when we had the trailer we rented before we bought this house, the whole kitchen was shut. They had it was actually not an island. What do they call it? A peninsula?
Yeah.
They had a peninsula. The cabinet was only 12 inches wide. What can you fit in a 12-inch wide cabinet?
Oh, come on.
I went in, I tore that all out, and I went down to my wood shop and I built new cabinets. And I put in a nice big, it was still a peninsula basically, but I put in a nice big peninsula. I put in a canning cupboard on the end of it, so you could just open the doors. The lights would automatically turn on. You could find what you wanted real easy. I think it was like 2 cans deep. And then I also went through and I built an overhead piece so I could mount a light under it, so there was light on top of the countertop because it was so dark in that area. There were no lights. And I was like, well, I'll build it, and I'll put an LED light on the bottom of it. And I built all that. It took 3 of us to put that upper cabinet in. That thing was heavy. I had a guy about the size of Greg down there helping me with it. And he actually had to balance it on top of his head. Well, my landlord was holding the level, and I was driving the screws in to hold it up so that I could put the other cabinet on the end of it to hold the opposite end of it and then mount it to the bottom cabinet as well. But then I also learned how to do epoxy. Never thought about doing anything epoxy. I did an epoxy countertop that turned out awesome. So when we bought this house, the first project I took on was the upstairs bathroom, and that upstairs vanity was crap. It's all made out of oak, but it's missing so many pieces. It's not funny. So I sanded it all down. I changed it over to walnut finish, and I redid the countertop again with epoxy and different paints and stuff to make it kind of look like it's not granite, but it looks like granite. Yeah. It turned out looking pretty cool. And I've still got to do like all the drawer fronts. I've got the drawers, but I don't have any doors for it. So I got to build the doors. And because everything right now is white oak and then stained with American black walnut, I have to build the doors out of oak in order to get them to match the rest of the cabinet and stuff. But we have regular, black walnut as part of another part of that room. We've got a cabinet in there to put towels and washcloths in right off the end of the vanity because the vanity is like really long. So we got that. And then we had to put it in another area where I took a regular piece of black walnut rough cut slab and turned it into a bench. And We had to build it. We had to build the panel that used to be a door on that end to hold that bench on the end by the vanity. And you can't tell the difference between the real black walnut and the American walnut stained oak. They look almost exactly the same.
Yeah. But that's why I wish I could get. I got all the cabinetry making equipment and tools in storage. I'd love to get it down here and turn my garage into another workshop and start doing that stuff again.
Well, I've decided when I get ready to build this big island and all the cabinets and stuff, I bought the maple hardwood paneling or plywood.
Yeah.
3/4 inch sheets. That stuff is not cheap. I thought I was buying wood. I thought I was buying what they call pro panels for $63 a piece because it's going to get painted anyway.
Right.
And it turned out I was buying like $85 panels that are made of maple.
Yep.
Which are really expensive. Yeah. And I was like,
I've got 8 sheets of it up in the storage that I'd love to get down here, but it's going to take 4 people just to move 4x8 sheet of plywood.
Well, what I did is I bought a track saw. I've got it all out in my 6x10 trawler that's enclosed.
Right.
And I just ordered. I was watching somebody's channel. I don't remember whose it was, and they needed to put an outlet on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been. I can't even come up with the name now, but they needed to put an outlet outside where you could just plug an extension cord into it.
Right.
You know, like the female end of an extension cord into the outside of the shed, and have it waterproof. And that went in, and it had 2 pigtails on the inside, 2 more female plugs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've been looking for that. I want to do that on my utility trawler. And so I used his link and I bought it. It was like $20, which is no big deal. I was thinking it was going to be a lot more than that. So I'm going to put electric into that trawler, and I'm going to use the track saw and cut those sheets while they're in the trawler. I even bought a piece of, I think it's 1 inch thick, rigid board insulation.
Yeah.
So I can separate the sheets and not have to worry about cutting through one and into the one below it.
Right.
I want to cut every individual sheet right there in the trawler, then bring them in. And then when I get ready to tear out the existing island, I'm going to build a whole brand new island right there where it sits. New cabinets, new everything. But I can use that trawler to put a lot of it together. And one thing I learned is, like, you know, you got to have the toe kick on the bottom of your cabinets.
Right.
Well, I watched a guy doing it, and he says, I never cut the toe kicks into my cabinets. I always build the toe kick as the base and set the cabinets on top. That way you can level that base piece,
go get drinks,
make it look right, and then set your cabinets on top. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. Wow, that's a lot of work for one person to have to do. I mean, those sheets are not light.
No, they're not.
It takes 2 people to move them around. I'm going to be cutting them down to a certain size or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's still going to be full sheets for a lot of it.
Yeah. I think David Clunt needs to come up there and hang out, and y'all need to come down with just have a field day of making things in my shop once we get everything up. But
David Clunt, if you see my plans for my shop, you'd freak out. I actually have an existing garage. I can actually show you a picture of it. I got it right here beside me.
All right. Well, it's like I made a jig, which it would roll around and everything, but you put a 4x8 sheet on it and had a jig that would move crossways, and my skill saw would actually mount it to it, and I could cut vertical and horizontal with the 4x8 sheet standing straight up.
So you got like what Lowe's has.
Yeah, basically, yeah, the same thing, but I made it.
If I had the room, I'd build one of those myself. That's an awesome idea.
Because actually, of course, it's shaped like this, and actually, when I load it up, in between each sheet of plywood that's on it, I put a little sticker board in between it. Each sheet. That way, they're all lined up there or stacked on there, and I can cut each sheet individually. And once I get that cut off, there's already another one sitting right behind it.
All right. So if I had the room,
is just everything in a little bit closer to it. That way, it'll cut through that, not into the other board. That's why the sticker boards in
Between 'em.
between there to hold them separate. So
I
I can load up with 5 sheets of plywood and just cut as I needed.
if I had my way about it, I've watched these guys that build them. They build a rack that's on wheels,
Yeah, this
like
this
4
is
swivel wheels. You take a piece of plywood out of your vehicle, and the rack is set so you just tip the sheet up and pull it right onto the rack, and you roll it into your workshop.
Mhm.
And then when you flop the rack up right side up so it's flat, it actually slides right off of that, and then either into the table saw or into like the what I have is a maker's table.
Right.
So you can just slide the whole sheet right onto that, and they're all the same height anyway. Because I can use my maker's table, or what they call a glue up table, as being like a out bed for my table saw.
Yeah.
If I can rearrange the garage. All right, David Glunt, I'm going to give you a picture here real quick. All right. See if I can get this in here where you can see it. All right. That building right there where my finger is, that's my garage. It's got a 1 car bay right here on this end. And then this is like a 2nd car bay, but it's a dirt floor. The rest of it's all cement floor or blacktop or whatever they had available to make it. I actually want to build my garage. Show it again. I want to build my garage so that this pile right here, this is all oak and all ash piled up. There's 2 bunks of it. I want to build over top of this garage all the way over to almost the side of my seed building, leave enough room to walk through and mow a line through it. So the garage would be almost twice the width that it is now, but I want to keep it the same length that it is, and then change the overhead door so when you come in the driveway right here, you drive into the garage.
Yeah,
that's my game plan. I was going to take all the land behind the garage, which is, see if I can get this up here. All right, that's the road. Come on back. See that black mark right there? That's a 30 by 40 garage. I was going to build that garage, but that's all a drop off. And I called our local excavation guy, Dana Fuller, and he was supposed to come out and talk to me about what he was going to charge me to do that. And it's been over a year, and I haven't heard or seen anything of him. And I said, you know what? This part of the yard up here is already level. I just built over top of the original garage, and then I can do that big cement floor. Hey, I can do that big cement floor from the front of the garage, back of the garage, from the edge of the garage all the way over by the seed house, and get a nice level cement floor in there. Then I can move everything out of the garage into that half, and then go in and tear this original garage out from the inside out. You know what I mean? I got an overhead door to take things in and out of, and it's going to be tall. I mean, it's going to go over top of that garage. So we're talking, I don't know, probably 15 foot, 16 foot ceilings.
Right.
But that's my goal, and that would give me room to be able to build lofts up in there and do other things in the garage, or have a good storage area for things that we just don't want on the floor, because that's my major issue. My major issue.
Yeah. Because when you got your things on the floor, everything's cluttered up.
Yep. Yeah, and I actually went out and bought a Badland winch that runs on 12-volt battery.
Yep.
And I have, this is actually kind of cool. Got it right beside me. I bought these special rollers.
Yeah.
I bought these special rollers, and like the electrician's tracks that they hang in factories. I forget the name of it. It's some kind of a special track anyway. These are made to set inside that track so they can't fall out.
Right.
And I have 2 of them, and that winch will bolt right into these bolt holes on the bottom of it.
Well, there you go.
Just space it out to the size of the winch, and then above these, where the winch is going to be done, I'm going to mount a battery with like really long wires so that this thing can follow that track. So if I build a loft in the garage and I put that across the top of the rafters, I can pick up like my generator and stuff like that by the winch and just drag it over onto the loft and set it down.
Yeah, it's like what Lowe's has with the barn door tracks.
Yeah, except for it's a lot heavier duty.
Yeah.
A lot heavier duty. It's called commercial something. I forget the name of it. Good Lord. Uni-channel.
Yeah.
Uni-channel. There's a lightweight one for electric, and then there's a real heavy one made for lifting stuff up. Right. And the prices are a little bit different. I mean, if you're buying the one for electrical, if it's mounted properly, you still can lift up a lot of weight. But if you buy the one that's made for lifting, my actual plan is to build a gantry that's rolling inside of my shop.
Yeah.
So if I want to pick up something really heavy and move it around, I can, and I don't have to pick it up physically. Like a picnic table.
Yeah.
If I build a picnic table for somebody out of pressure treated wood, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But if I can pick it up with that gantry and set it into the back of the truck and deliver it to them, then it's not so hard. And I actually have wheels that go on the legs of picnic tables, so you can put it underneath it and wheel them around the yards and stuff. So.
Right. Well, when I worked for that electrical motor rebuild shop, that's what we had those set up all around our workstations.
Right.
That, of course, we had the big main crane that went through, but we had that system set up that way we could use it for each workstation.
Yeah.
Because when you're working on an end bell for an engine or for a electric motor, and that end bell weighs 200 or 300 pounds, and you got 8 guys all standing around there, you that one crane ain't going to work. So
no.
So we had that set up around there with a jib crane beside it. That way we could pull up, use the jib crane to move everything within the area of the little track system that we had, and then use that from there.
I actually got that idea from watching a couple of videos, but at my job, we had a centrifuge that was brought in from Germany, and that thing, I don't know what the tonnage weight of it is, but it's huge. And we had the trolleys that rolled on the I-beams. That way they could pull it up through the floor with a chainsaw and then roll it over and set it down onto the base. And I got the idea from that, but I watched a couple channels on it, and they were talking about it and describing the difference between the regular electrical lightweight one versus the one that's made to pick up heavy things.
Right.
Well,
that's what the center beam. That's what the center crane that we had went on was the I-beams. Because some of them, of course, we had the small engine or small motor shop. On the other side of the building was a large motor shop, and the motors that came in on the large side, you could drive a truck through the stators.
Yeah.
So big. And a lot of them was actually done a lot of work for the military work, and they would actually have 2 guys there standing guard the entire time that we were rebuilding them motors, and they were fully armed, the whole 9 yards. Of course, we were the biggest in-house electrical motor shop in the United States.
It's not like somebody's going to just take one and put it in their pocket.
Yeah, but there were some things internally that was a little different than most of the others.
Right. Actually, David Glunt, the last time I played with that channel was with regular electrical channels. They had the one that was like a deep bass, and then they had another one that was really, really narrow. And there was a bunch of it kicking around our plant, and it was all scrap. They just kept everything, you don't throw nothing away. We had what they called the boneyard. And I was talking to the boss one day. I said, I'd like to have a couple pieces of that channel. And he's like, what are you going to use it for? And I said, well, I built this vegetable stand for out in front of my house, but I need to build a locking drawer, so I'm going to make everything out of steel. And because that drawer is going to be heavy, I don't want just regular drawer glides on it. I actually used those channels to build the glides for the drawer, and then made it so when you close the drawer, there was a tab that stuck out that you put the lock through. And everybody was like, well, how did you make that? And I'm not telling you my secrets, but one thing I did learn about it was that because that channel sits so deep on the and then the other one connects to it down low is the like glide piece. I didn't want people to be able to reach your hand up over the top of the drawer and reach down in and pull all the money out of the inside of the drawer. So I had to keep working on, okay, well, this drawer needs to be taller, weld another piece to it. And I kept doing that until I got it to where it was perfect. But it took some time. But it worked great. That was actually probably one of the best vegetable carts I ever made. I actually had self-leveling legs on it. They had spikes on the bottom of them, so the wind couldn't blow it around the yard because it was on wheels and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a lot of fun building that one.
I'll be right back. I got something to take care of.
All right, go water your horse.
I got it. Well, since you brought it up, I could go see a man about a horse. I hope it's not a pony, but
It's probably not going to be a gelding either.
Looking good on my side, so
I bet you won't be able to saddle it. It's funny. I actually have the same roll top desk in my office that he has right there showing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's the exact same one.
There was one of those in a storage unit.
I bought mine off of a friend of mine. He had it for sale. And I told him the only way I'm going to buy it is if you help load it on my truck. And it took 3 of us to put it on the truck. Because the drawer side of that, it's all made out of oak. So the drawer side of that thing was super heavy.
Yeah.
And he decided, well, if I grab the light side and he grabs the heavy side, we're not going to put it up onto the truck. So he ended up calling another friend over to help load it on. But I think I paid $175 for it. And it's in mint condition. Mint condition. I've always been impressed with the way roll top desks are made. It's really nothing more than just a bunch of wood glued to canvas to make the roll top part. I never knew that until I owned one. I never would have guessed that till I owned one.
Here comes that old man.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got to step over the vacuum cleaner or something in the way over there.
Well, no, that's my roll-a-majigger thing. And
your walker?
Yeah. That's what y'all Yankees call them. We're just down here, just thingamajiggers. But I heard you talking about the roll tops. It just with this tongue and groove, and you lay them all out.
And then just glue a piece of canvas to the back of them.
Glue a piece of canvas to it, or just a couple little strips of fabric. And
right.
You got your side slots that it runs on.
Yep.
And if you really want to get it, you can weight the back of it. That way it's easier to pull up and pull down.
I'm not worried about mine because right now it's closed because I don't want people to see what all's on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, it's in my laundry room, which used to be part of my office originally.
Yeah.
And it became a catch-all.
That's all they are.
You keep the top rolled down and that's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, when I did our laundry room here, I got a smoking deal from a couple. They went out and bought all these really nice cherry cabinets. And they ended up with all of the uppers that they didn't use. There was like 4 of them, I think, for like $50 a piece or something. And they're all glass door fronts, so you can see what's inside the cabinets and stuff. And there's 2 doors on each cabinet. And I went over and I looked at them. I says, yeah, absolutely, I'll buy these from you. They were brand new. They paid a lot of money for them. Me buying them for $50 a piece, they probably lost $200 per cabinet.
Right.
Just selling them to me. But they weren't going to use them. They had them in the garage covered under a tarp. And they were just like, yeah, we're not going to use these, so we might as well sell them. And I was like, I want all of them. And they're like, really? I was like, yeah. I mean, if you even had more, I'd buy more. So over top of my roll top desk, I got 2 of them. And over top of my washer and dryer, I've got 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I've got like 8 doors in that laundry room of just storage space, place to put Kleenex and laundry detergents and dryer sheets and all that stuff. So nothing's down on the bottom. But no matter what I do with them cabinets, that roll top desk still seemed to be the catch-all.
Yeah.
So I just like close it up.
David Glunt just said he's got a desk he made out of mahogany. I am sure that is
super heavy.
Yeah.
That's like building it out of steel.
Yeah. Well, out in the
Christmas vacation.
did we go out and look at the garage while y'all were here?
No.
Well, there's a back room in the back of the garage. And it's a 2-story room. And there's a desk in there. It is an old, very old oak desk. It's so old that it actually you could mount a typewriter on it, and you pull the thing out and flip it over, and it would flip the typewriter completely out of sight.
Oh, that's cool. A flip top desk.
Kind of like a sewing machine.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Actually, I see a lot of guys with wood shops where they do that, where they have like a table saw on one side of it, and then they flip it over, and the planer comes up on the other side.
Well, that's
Those are cool.
the table saw that I made. Actually, you got the table saw in the center of it, and on one side of it is a router that basically do the same thing, but on the other side of it is the drum
sander.
Sanders. The oscillating that goes up and down and turns and everything. But you flip them out and it fits an entire 4x8. You can run a 4x8 sheet across with one person. The ends of it fold down. You run the whole 4x8 sheet across it, and you never have to touch it rather than just pushing it.
My old Craftsman table saw was like a 1950s, and we actually found a guy local, that's a friend of mine, who had another one sitting in his garage he wanted to sell. And I was like, well, what do you want for it? And he said, I'll take $30. I said, well, was the motor good on it? He said, oh, yeah, the motor's fine. The arbor wasn't great, but the motor was good. But he had all these cast iron extensions to it.
Yeah.
They were the same as what I had on mine. So we give him $30 for it. I brought it home. First thing I did was I cannibalized that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up with I think it was 54-inch wide top.
Right.
And I had to build a special cabinet to sit underneath it because I had it on the original metal stand where the original table saw was centered on that stand. But when I got done adding all these extension pieces onto it, I went out to my shop to do some cutting one day, and it was like the guy out there in the garage doing that Olympia thing, where he's holding his hand up. One end of the saw was touching the floor, and the other one was almost touching the ceiling.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, take that off of there, build a new cabinet. We can't use the metal one anymore. That's garbage.
Yeah.
But it was big, it was heavy, and I mean, when I moved to this house, I didn't think about it. I unhooked my utility trailer from the back of my truck,
thinking,
I just got some things in there I got to roll out. Well, I got 90% of it rolled up, but the table saw was the last item in the trailer, and not thinking it wasn't hooked to the vehicle or anything. I started rolling it down the trailer, and the whole trailer tipped up, and I had to stop it at the door. Yeah. And then I had to come back in and get Leah and say, hey, I need you to come out here and give me a hand. She says, what are you doing? I said, I'm taking the table saw out of the trailer, but I was stupid. And she's like, what? I says, I unhooked the truck. And she's like, so what do I got to do? And I says, I just want you to stand behind me so that this thing doesn't get away. I got to pick it up because when it dropped down, the door on my utility trailer is a drop down ramp door.
Right.
And it creates a groove. So I had to pick it up over that groove, but because one side of it was still in the downfall of the trailer and the other side was on the flat part of the ramp, I needed to make sure that sucker wasn't going to run away from me the minute I started picking it up. I'll tell you what, I got my butt handed to me getting that thing out of the trailer. I was like, okay, never again. Anytime there's anything in that trailer, it's got to be connected to a vehicle. Like the plywood right now, I'm not worried about.
Right.
I can take one sheet out of that. The other, I think I got 6 sheets. The other sheets are so heavy it doesn't matter. That trailer won't move.
Yeah. Well, it's like
the sheet it might.
Yeah. My scroll saw, it's a 1950s model industrial. I don't know where it came from originally, but the scroll saw, but it's got a 3 feet there. I don't know if you call it neck or what it is.
Okay. Yep.
I can run a 3 feet piece into it before it hits the back.
Yeah, they call that the throat.
Yeah. And but when you started talking about that, it reminded me of a story. I bought a 71 Plymouth GTX one time. And I had my girlfriend get in the car, and of course, it was kind of downhill once we got it rolling. And I had a little Chevy S10 with a a 2-wheel dolly behind it, and so had the truck, the dolly sitting there, and she was in the car, and me and 2 other guys got behind the cart and started pushing it to get it up onto the dolly. Well, once that car got up onto the dolly, it was a lot heavier than that Chevy S10.
Yeah. Roller hitch gets the ground.
As soon as it went up on it, the back tires came up off the ground on the S10, and like I said, it was on a hill.
All right.
I could hear her screaming all the way down that hill as the back end of that S10 was up off the ground and that car was falling on the dolly all the way down into the woods at the bottom of the hill.
At least you had the advantage of you didn't need the back wheels to drive because you were going downhill. Because if you needed to do that, you would have had to go out and buy a bunch of cement or something and throw in the back of the truck to bring the butt on down.
Yeah, but that's why I said she was an ex-girlfriend after that. So,
right. That's one thing I found out with my truck is that this new motor that I had put into it is a lot better than the old one was.
Yeah.
We were driving up a local road, and there was a tractor trailer coming down the hill. And I looked at Leah, and I said, holy shit. And she's like, what? And I says, that tractor trailer is sliding down this hill. Let's hope he stays in his own lane, because it was like an S-curve, you know?
Yeah.
Let's hope he stays in his own lane. The minute we got past him,
Okay.
I was like, all right, we're good. I stepped on the gas. I had to put it in 4-wheel drive because that thing was so peppy.
Right?
I couldn't get any traction with it anymore.
Yeah.
Up to that point, I was fine, but I slowed down a lot because if he was going to come at me, I had 2 choices: drive into the ditch or put it in reverse and follow him down the hill.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do either.
Yeah. No kidding.
I was just like, go real slow and just cross your fingers and pray that he doesn't slide into our lane. He was close. But yeah, there was not a tire at all turning on that truck going down that hill.
Well,
And I'm like,
that's the thing about it. It might be old school courtesy, or this guy's going to knock the shit out of me. But anybody coming downhill has the right of way.
yeah, well, unfortunately, he had the right of way because he was 3 times bigger than I was and probably weighed 6 times more.
Yeah,
I don't know what he was carrying. I don't know what he was carrying.
Wheels. If you're in a slide, you don't lock your wheels.
No, that's what people. That's where
Actually,
that's up.
with my car, if it starts to slide, it's a front wheel drive. You step on the gas.
Rolling,
Yeah,
you have control.
Yep. As soon as you lock those wheels, that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
I think he was probably letting off the brake a little bit as he was like navigating some of the turns. But those back tires on that tractor trailer did not turn at all the way down that hill. You could see where he was just taking and pulling the slush off the top of the ice.
Yeah.
He had that trailer brakes locked.
Yep. He did a pretty good controlled skill. I will say that. He didn't go off in the ditch. I came back a different way home, but he was in town unloading at the local store, so I know he made it. But I was just like, yeah, I don't want to do that road again. And I'm actually like right now still avoiding it because, like I say, it's a bunch of S turns on that road, and it's all tree lined. So the sun never shines on that road. So during the wintertime, if there's any snow on the road, they don't plow it like they would in normal ones. But when they do, they don't put down like salt or cinders or anything. They just run a plow over it and call it good enough. And I'll tell you, my truck used to never like lose traction like that, but that new motor is so peppy.
Yeah.
Once I stepped onto the gas, it was like, okay, we're going. Yeah, no, we're not. 4-wheel drive. Now we're going.
Well, it's like both my surgery time in the hospital there this week. Was in Beckley. That's 1,000 feet difference between where I'm at now and where that's at.
So you're higher up on the hill?
No, they are higher up. I drive right through the Winter Place ski resort.
Okay.
Stuff to get up there. And yeah, and we had 6 inches of snow, which wasn't bad here. But by time we got to Beckley up there, that area, no, it was feet.
Making it home. How we doing, Lauren?
Hey,
Hey,
hey, I know them people.
When I had my partnerships in the horse ranches and stuff out in the Catskill Mountain Range, we had one that was just down the road from Windham Ski Resort.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you what, that was probably the worst set of roads I've ever driven on because they would be up there on the mountain making the snow, and 90% of it would be drifting down onto the road.
yeah.
It was terrible. I mean, those snowplows were going by there like every half an hour, and it was still terrible. And I actually went over to Windham one time and I said to him, I says, you know what you really should do is just change the angle of the way your snow blowers are working. The snowmakers, tilt them down so the wind picks it up and carries it to the bottom of the hill instead of tipping it up, expecting it to get to the bottom of the hill because it doesn't touch the hill. It just keeps right on it going.
Yeah. Now, David, you got to tighten up, brother.
Lauren, I have been looking for it, but I have to do it on YouTube. I have to do it on YouTube. I can't do it here. I don't know why they just like make it so hard to get. You should have one. Ace has one. Paul has one. And there's just no way for me to be able to go in and say, okay, I can put you in timeout, or I could ban you and delete your comments, or I could just delete a single comment, but it won't let me put your messages out. I don't know why.
Well, this makes 3 weeks that she's been.
I know.
You.
I've been looking at it. I've been looking at our lives on YouTube.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
4 weeks because I wasn't on last week and it was
That's
2
right.
weeks.
Yep.
Well, I've been looking at them for YouTube, but the problem is she always shows up at the very end of the chat. So I have to watch an hour and a half of a chat.
Oh,
She shows up.
You can actually fast forward through it.
Yeah, but that sucks because then you forget what we talked about, and we try not to keep the same conversation going each week.
You know what an excuse is?
Yeah,
It's a
that's
lie.
what I use all the time.
It's a lie that you tell to yourself.
Well, for me, I got a good excuse.
Yeah, Lauren, we love you, sister. You know I love you.
Lauren,
This wouldn't be possible with if it wasn't for you.
Lauren, I don't know if I'd be able to do it with my phone. To be honest with you, because I have YouTube on my phone, but I don't watch my channel on my phone. And actually, if I was doing that right now, we'd be getting an echo from it.
No,
I have to do it up. I have to do it up.
Down.
I have to do it off my computer. My computer is the only one set up to really do a lot with YouTube. Speaking of which, Troy, did you hear that new song I put out today? Well, I didn't put it out today, but I put it out a while back.
Seen it today. I haven't seen much of today, because some reason, since I'm not on a schedule, I didn't go to sleep until 7 a.m. this morning, and so I kind of slept in a little bit.
Lauren, that's not true. I will go in and I'll watch a live until I see you pop in. To be honest with you guys, I've only watched maybe 2 of our lives, and that's when I first realized that my microphone was so muffled on a couple of them.
Yeah, but it's better now. It's perfectly clear.
Yeah, and I'm back to using the same microphone originally that came with the camera.
Oh, that's when you plugged it into the right.
Yeah, well, that was last week, and that was last week, the week before last, the week before that was done with the other microphone. But right now, I'm not using the other microphone because I couldn't adjust the volume on it.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the camera and was going, okay, well, your volume's great. Well, great, I'll play with that one today then. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I've got these new hearing aids, but it is irking me like you would not believe because everybody talks with a lisp. Every S, somebody said the word with the S in it is like, how's things doing? Glad to see y'all. And And it took me a while to figure it out. I was like, I never knew that all these people talk funny, but then no, it's these freaking hearing aids.
That's what it is. It's the people. It's the people that are typing wrong.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the hearing aids. It's how you're reading it. I actually was laughing today. We got behind a Honda CR6.
Yeah.
And Leah said something to me stupid, and I says, "It's not 6." And she's like, "What? See, we're on 6. We're not 6. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon. We're not 6." So then we go to the bank and we come up with one that was a CR5. I said, well, at least they're getting closer.
Yeah. And all I heard is, well, you just 3, 6, 5, 3. I'm like, you're killing me, brother.
I guess I could listen to that better than somebody whistling when they speak.
Yeah.
That would drive me nuts. I forget who used to do that, but there was a guy on TV that used to do that. Every time he said anything that had an S in it, it was always a whistle enough.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I don't remember who he was.
That's kind of in there too. It's an S with a whistle.
He used to be in a lot of the older westerns. Troy just froze. His internet must be out. There you are.
Yep. It's me, Margaret.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's my internet.
Yeah, well, we can all blame that. I mean, it depends on the weather too, though. You know.
Yeah. Which is supposed, I'm actually I'm not worried about snow and everything like that, but starting tonight, it's going to be rainy and ice, like so it'll be 10 degrees before the wind chill factor comes in Monday morning. So
we've had that for a couple days. We had some 5-degree days in the morning.
Yeah. But I got my solar generator. I had just got an extra battery to add on to it. And in case I can't use the solar panels, I have my backup generator to charge said battery banks. And my housekeeper went out to the garage yesterday and brought in my second backup propane heater in. So
I've got a kerosene one that I keep at a friend's house because they live in a house trailer down the road, about a mile.
Yep.
Mile and a half. And their water lines are always freezing. I had it out in my garage, but I can't use it in my garage. The fumes are just, my back will start bothering me and all kinds of stuff. So I told him, I says, look, you're using this thing more than I am. Here's the kerosene can. Here's the heater. You've got a garage. You know how to store it. And when you need it, you got it. I know where it's at if I ever need it again. So I just went out recently and I bought another one that is a Craftsman miniature salamander that runs on propane.
Right. Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that'll heat my garage in about 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I got out of the Navy back in 99, and I went to work for a street rod custom shop, and actually I lived in his old body shop and stuff. Whenever it got winter time and the pipes would start freezing, he would actually hook his welder up to the copper pipes to thaw out the water lines.
Oh.
Yeah, and I always stayed away from his house whenever he did that. It did to me that's not a good outcome, but it worked.
Yeah. Well, I actually have a 220 volt electric heater, kind of what like Mike has been showing on his videos.
Yeah.
But I don't have it plugged in. Actually, I don't even have a plug on the end of the wire right now. I do have a welder's plug out there that I can plug it into. but I don't plug it in because our electric bill already is still about $635 a month. I don't need to be doing that. You know, if I go out and work in the garage for a little bit, I can raise our electric bill just using tools in the garage by an easy $100 a month.
Well,
I don't need to raise it 300 by using that.
Well, see, last year my electric bill here in this house, of course, I only got like 2 to 3 lights on at a time, and that's it. And my electric bill was running over $1,200 a month.
Yeah, last year because of the seed house.
But this fall or no, this spring, right after the cold spells stopped and everything, I was sitting here by this back window. Of course, it's 2 stories here, and the heat pump is on ground level. I was sitting there and I heard a loud boom, and a fireball rolled up the side of the house. And of course, the power it flickered. I was like, "Well, that's not good." And then the power came back on and everything, and it wasn't a few seconds later. It did it again, but louder, and the power didn't come back on. I was like, I need to go to the breaker panel right now, and I flipped the main breaker off and stuff, and went out there, and so I knew it came from the outside
condenser.
Yeah, and so I went out there, went with the flashlight. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, looking for burn spots and stuff. There was nothing. Didn't see nothing. So I went over to the side of the house, and I pulled the breaker right beside of it, or the thingamajigger.
Couldn't kick on.
Yeah. So then I went back up, clicked the main breaker back on, and which it did actually trip the breaker for the heat pump.
Wow.
So, and I left it off. And the next day, I called a landlord, and he came back. He had sent a guy in there, checked it out and everything. Couldn't find it. He's run a system check on it. Couldn't find anything wrong with it and everything like it. But ever since then, my electric bill has not been more than $150.
Wow, I wish I could say that. Last year, our electric bill all winter long was over $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And so I decided during this, I think it was
maybe your stuff needs to go up.
Well, we had 2 electric heaters heating the seed house. We had one on each end of it, and they're pretty good sized heaters. And then we had an AC unit that we were running out there during summertime. And with those $1,000 bills, I was like, okay, I'm done playing this. That's over $12,000 in 1 year. So I called up Holbrook Plumbing and Heating. It's a local company, and I had them come out and give me a quote for putting in a mini split. It was $7,000 totally installed.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that last week.
Yep. Our electric bill is still $600 a month, but I'd rather pay $600 than $1,000.
Yeah.
But I have a heater under my desk that runs all the time. I've got another one in the back room where there's no insulation under the floors, just to keep the water lines in our laundry room not freezing. Yeah. And I think I probably got another one down in the basement that I don't use, but there is a propane heater that runs down there all the time. Yeah. All the time.
Yep. David Blunt, what part of the country, not specifically, but are you in?
I think he's in Delaware.
Yep. He's in Delaware.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Most of the time it says David Blunt in Delaware, but it's not there this time.
Actually, we had a big family tragedy happened up there in Delaware, right along the river. My aunt's fiance at the time, of course, I wasn't around back then. They were all out on the river and everything, and her fiance started to drown, and my granddad jumped in the boat to try to row out and get to him, and didn't make it to him in time. And my family still goes up there to where that happened every year in memory of him. And I guess that was probably the late 60s after that happened.
Oh, that's before my time.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't before mine, but some of y'all are young punks, Greg.
David remembers when dirt was new. What are you talking about?
Hey, I'm old enough to be dirt. I actually thought about writing a song about being as old as dirt, but I haven't come up with the right way to word it yet.
David's first car was like the Flintstones.
Well, no. My first car was a Dodge Delaware Brougham. That thing was a boat.
I got no. Well, my first car was a 63 Studebaker Daytona Lark.
I tried buying a Studebaker. My dad wouldn't let me. He's like, we don't have the tools to build new parts for it, and you can't buy them anymore.
I've had two of them. They're great. My
Yeah, and we have
one now, and actually, since Lauren is in here, I'm gonna have to move this over. Right there is Lauren's dream truck. What finger? Right there. Which my dad had one. Dad had a 47 Studebaker.
Let me take a quick look. I think I got a picture of my dad's first car that he bought brand new. Mm-hmm. I think I got it.
I had a 53 Studebaker truck. Dad had a 47. But then the Lark that I had was actually my granddaddy's old ridge running car that he ran moonshine in. No. Imagine that. You don't want to sit on the back seat because that back seat, it looked just like a regular seat, but it was really hard.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
There was a lever underneath the dash that actually that would actually activate a dump tube that would dump it out in case you got taken around. I remember Pintos.
They're still around.
Actually, I cut up so many Pintos and Mustang 2s when I was working in the street rod and custom shop because the front suspension underneath them was perfect to build street rods out of. Then once you got to the fat fender cars, big body, then we went to the Novas, Camaros, and that type of front suspension.
I don't have the picture, but it was one of the first Chrysler cars that Dodge ever put out for sale. I think it was called a Chrysler Fordham, if I remember right. I actually had to share it. I had to share it on Facebook and ask all my car buddies what they had, what that car was. Right. I'm pretty sure it was a Chrysler Fordham. It was like the first model they ever produced.
Yeah, that sounds right. But actually, when I joined the military, I was building another street rod, and it was actually a 1941 Plymouth pickup truck.
Okay. I had a show car back then.
It looked just like the Dodge, except the only difference was the grill on the Plymouth was made into 3 sections, where the Dodge truck was all one piece.
All right.
And
there
was a couple other differences, but it was the cab mounts and stuff. But
my one of my first newer cars was a 76 Chevy Malibu 2-door, and I built it into a show car. We put a 289 engine into it. They came out with a V6, which was a stupid motor. They were only good to 90,000 miles.
Right.
And I had the motor rebuilt at like 89,000 miles. Yeah. So I put a lot of money into the motor to have it just go to crap within 1,000 miles. And a buddy of mine had a 289. And he's like, I can come over and I can drop this 289 in. And I was like, all right, great. Well, we had to hire a welding company to come weld in the motor mounts.
Right. Yeah.
And we built the car up, and I sold it to a waitress that I worked with at the time. And I just ran into her today, and the first thing that came out of her mouth when I walked over and said, "Hey, Kathy, how you doing?" She's like, "Oh my God!" And she looked. I think it was her son she was with, which back in them days they were like little kids.
Yeah.
She says, do you remember that blue Chevy Malibu that I had? And he's like, yeah, I remember that car. That car was freaking awesome. And she says, well, this is Dave. This is the guy that sold it to us. I actually had somebody wanting to buy it to put it on a racetrack when I put it up for sale. And I looked right at him. I says, no, if you're going to do that, it's not for sale. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And her husband seen the car, and he's like, you want to sell that? And I was like, yeah, actually I do. I've got it up for sale. But the problem is that this guy that wanted to buy it wanted to put it on a racetrack, and it's not something that needs to go on a racetrack. They'll ruin it the first race they do.
Yeah.
He says, how much you want for it? And I looked at him. I started laughing. I says, well, as of today, right now, I'm tired of the car. You give me $800 and it's yours. He bought the car. Yeah. And all of the high end performance parts that were on that car, he pulled out and he put them on his pickup truck, and then bought another V6 200 motor to put it back into the Malibu, and had to have the motor mounts changed back out. And the reason why he did that was because I told him, I says, if your wife gets behind the wheel on this, she's going to kill somebody. Mm-hmm. That car was so hopped up, you take your foot off the brake and it was squealing the tires. You didn't even have to touch the gas.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 3/4 racing cam with high-end ceramic rings on the pistons and all kinds of stupid stuff.
Yeah. Well, David just said his Pinto had a 302 in it. And actually, at that time, back in the day, you could go down to Napa and you could order engine swap kit.
Yeah.
Put a V8 into the Pinto, and you could get one for the Chevy Vega.
Yeah, my favorite one was the Ford 289.
Yeah.
Those things had special tricks you could do to them. We had them in a Mustang Fastback.
I've been my Ford Ranger, and I'm debating 3 motors to put in it. One is a 4-cylinder diesel.
Good motor.
Which would be great, and you can get the kit.
Oh, wait, isn't that the 4-cylinder diesel with turbo?
Well, actually, you can actually get depends on what you can get the difference. Kubota, you can get a 4-cylinder Kubota, and they have an adapter kit for it. They have the 4-cylinder.
Cat?
Two more, the Cat, and then there's another one, which was came in a bread truck back in the 70s that were working it, but it's either one of them 3 or which would take the other one take a lot of modifications because it's so big. Put a 300 straight 6 in it, or the 289. Because we use 289s and 327s around here in the mountains building street robs because the horsepower to torque ratio was so equal.
Yeah.
To get up and down these mountains.
Higher in the mileage, but probably more dependable.
They were. And
that was the problem I always had with diesel was I always had to plug them in.
Yeah. Well, with the diesel, you don't get the speed and stuff, which is not what I want in a Ford Ranger 4-wheel drive. But you get the torque.
Well, what you do?
I've already got the Ranger. It will haul 1-ton load on the back of it, the way I've got it set up now. But that motor is not going to pull it. Right. And I still have to rework the front suspension.
You guys see that one with Dave Warren there where he was taking off those IBC totes off the back of his trailer over there at headquarters?
I think so.
Every one of those IBC totes was labeled as Ford ATF.
Really?
I sent him a message and said, hey, you know what, David? As long as that fluid is not contaminated, you got enough transmission fluid to keep your Ford effing Ranger lasting forever.
Yeah.
I don't think his is enough in Ranger. I don't. It's too big of a truck to be a Ranger.
Yeah.
But Tim calls it his Ford effing Ranger, so I had to play on that one.
Yeah. Well, y'all seen mine. Y'all know what I have, so.
Yep. I've actually been looking at some other trucks. I found a really, really nice Dodge Ram out of Pennsylvania. There's a dealership down there where they don't sell any vehicles for more than $5,000.
Really?
Yeah, and he took this thing in as a bank repo and got it for under. I think he paid like $4,000 for it.
Right.
And because he didn't have to do any detail work or anything else, he just put it right up for sale for $5,000. I told him, I said, just send me your address. I'm interested.
Did you see who just bought out Dodge Ram?
No.
Fiat.
Yeah,
that
Fiat?
that happened a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
I don't know. Fiat, I mean,
Fiat was good back in the early days, but they haven't done nothing in a long time.
Well, they're building the Dodge Rams now.
Yeah. But they're still part of Chrysler.
I tell you what, I would love to have one of the new Dodge Ram.
Bighorn?
No, they brought back the old name, the Ram.
Laramie?
No,
I know what you're talking about.
Right behind the cab, it's got the stripe going up and down. The wide stripe with two little stripes. Power Wagon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they brought back the Power Wagon.
I used to have a Dodge.
One of the originals.
I used to have a Dodge van that was a Power Wagon.
Right.
It was a contractor's van.
I would love to have it. Actually, one of my ultimate vehicles would be a '78 Dodge Power Wagon because it had with the Dana front and rear end, and that was an ultimate truck.
I've always been a Ford guy in trucks, and I always will be.
Yeah,
I've always played with everything. I had a Ford F-100 for many years. And I sold it to a friend of mine, and he had to open the hood for something one day. He opened the hood, and the hinge mount points on the inside of the fenders.
Yeah.
He opened up the hood, and the whole hood fell off the truck. So he had to have somebody come in and re-weld panels in there to remount the hood onto it. And then it was like a week later, half of the front end fell out from underneath it while he was driving down the road. So he had to have somebody come in and replace everything that the A-frame mounts to.
Yeah.
Had to be replaced. The A-frame was like brand new, but it was everything that it mounted to. It was totally rotted out. So he had to have somebody else come in and rebuild all that for him and stuff.
Yeah.
And he finally got frustrated and sold the truck for like $200. And I was like, dude, man, when I sold that truck to you, it didn't show all that rust.
Right.
It was a nice looking truck.
Yeah. Well, I had an 81 F-100 with a 300 6-cylinder on it, 3 on a tree. I loved that truck.
All right.
It was indestructible.
Dodge did away with the Hemis, really? That's sad.
Yeah.
That's the best motor they ever put out.
But I think they're going with something different now.
Yeah, probably a V6.
Yeah. I can't remember because I was looking at a Ram, and I can't remember what the new one is. Oh crud! I don't remember.
Yeah.
I looked yesterday at it.
Yeah, I had a '99 Dodge 2500 shirt, the Sport series, and I bought up here in West Virginia, and come to find out they bought it from a government auction in South Carolina. It was a South Carolina sled truck, which is South Carolina's version of Texas Ranger or Ranger.
Yeah.
And
I said V6 turbo, but diesel.
Yeah,
the diesel part counts.
Yeah, but that one it had the 289 in it with the power chips and stuff down. I could drive here from West Virginia down to Aiken, South Carolina, and I wouldn't have to stop and get gas until I was almost back up to Charlotte, North Carolina.
That's why I like my new car. I get on average about 40 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
When we went to Oklahoma the first year, going through Missouri, where it's all flatlands, where they got all the windmills and all that stuff, we were averaging 52 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
because it was all flatlands. Just set the cruise and go.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
yeah. But that truck is great. But I had a 660 Grizzly 4-wheeler. I put it on the back of that, and it was squatting. The rear end was squatting onto the frame. It was not built to haul anything, but
Right.
since they used that for running highway, it was all speed and
Dave Blunt, you were talking about your truck. It has a big motor, but suspension won't haul much.
right. Yeah,
I had like I think it was like an '82 Chevy 3/4 ton van, and I could haul a lot of weight in it. But the problem is that the rear end would always sag down if I loaded it. So I went out and I did a roofing job for a guy, and he had these shocks that had like turbo springs on them.
right. Yeah,
And I said to him, I says, look, I'm only going to charge you half the price for doing the roof if you give me those 2 shocks right there so I can put them on my van.
right.
I lived in a trailer park at the time. So I took a 4x4, I put it underneath the bumper. I took one of those shocks and I put the 4x4 on top of it, and I sat on the other end to bring it down, but I had no way to be able to put a piece of wire on it to hold it down because I was too far back to get the right amount of tension onto it. So I went and I found the fattest kid in the trailer park. I said, I'm going to give you $15 to do me a favor. And he said, what's that? And I says, I want you to sit on the end of this 4x4. And we lowered the shocks down to where they need to be mounted into the back of the van. And I wrapped wire around both sides of the shocks. And then I mounted the shocks into the van. And I says, all right, now here's your other job. And he's like, what's that? And I says, here's a pair of wire cutters. On the count of 3. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. On 3, you squeeze these wire cutters and cut the outside wire. And then we'll move to the other side and we'll do the inside wires. And he's like, all right, cool. I says, but here's the deal. Do not move. Because this van probably will. We cut those inside wires. That van jumped up a foot off of the ground. That poor fat kid was about 2 inches from the tire when it landed back onto the ground. And he had no place to move at all. I mean, he was like glued to the ground.
Yeah.
I pulled him out by his feet going, are you okay? And he says, holy crap, did that scare me? And I says, it scared me too, because I expected it to go straight up, but apparently you cut your wire just a little bit too late. And the whole van went kaplop, and it moved over a good foot. And I was like, holy crap. I'm glad we were like on the inside doing it as the last cut rather than on the outside doing the first cut, because he probably would have had a tire on him.
Yeah. Well, actually,
but I could load that thing with like over a ton of drywall and haul it, and that thing sat flat. The only thing I had to worry about was how did the tires look.
Yeah. Actually, what I want to do now, I would love to find a rolled over F450 or 550. It don't really matter as long as it's above a F450. And that way I can just take the body completely off the frame and running gear. And I want to find a B model Mac truck body and put over on top of that, and then put an old Studebaker 50s model bed over on it to make a pickup truck. Because
so basically you want to play Wiley.
yeah, exactly. But the old Studebaker bed will match the B model Mac, all the curves and everything. And
I tell you what, you want to find one of those? Go to Copart.
Yeah, either Copart or also you might be able to find one on Craigslist pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
I was looking at a couple of them today.
Yeah.
If you're looking at wrecked vehicles, though, Copart, that's your insurance auction. And
I've never heard of them. I will have to look that up.
They've got a lot of locations. They're out in Oregon. They're here in Pennsylvania, I think it is.
There's one in Syracuse.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to have somebody that's got a dealer license, don't you?
No, you do not.
No?
I signed up for a membership on their website.
Yeah.
Troy, watch the Nico brothers on YouTube.
Okay, let me write that down.
How do they spell it? Nico?
No, Niko.
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 Nico Brothers on YouTube. They buy
Well,
them
David, if your truck is a racing truck, why do you want to beef it up to where you can haul something with it? That doesn't make sense. If you're racing the truck, you don't want to put a whole lot of weight in the back end of it. That'll just slow you down.
No.
Basically, his Dodge Dakota is like Tim's SRT. That's
Right,
basically what they are.
And the rear ends are so light, you can get no traction. You have to actually. We used to actually put lead into the frame rails.
Yeah, I did that on my van. Just to help hold it down when it was empty.
Yeah,
I did that with my van because when my van had those high suspension springs on the shocks, if it was empty, you could not keep that thing on the road.
Right.
You hit a pothole and you're a foot off the road again because it would bounce. It was so light on the back.
That's why you got to weight down the back end. That way you get it. That way you load up the rear tires to get traction.
I ended up getting a bunch of lead bars from a guy, and I cut the back end of the frame off, slid them all into the frame on both sides, and then welded a plate over the back of it to keep them from falling back out.
Yeah. Well, the Street Rod Custom Shop up here, which y'all seen it. It was right down on the other side of the Mexican restaurant.
Hey, Brett, how we doing?
Yeah, we had of course, all the tire weights and stuff came in there. We would melt down the tire weights into a valve cover to make a bar to weigh down the frame rails.
My dad actually got a bunch of old tire weights from a garage, and he had these Durkee bakery bread pans.
Yeah.
So he'd be in there with a smelting pot, and he'd be melting all this lead down and filling up these Durkee pans with it and stuff. And we'd go about probably, I think it was 2.5 inches filled up into the pan. And then after it cooled, you just tip the pan over and the lead would fall out. And then we were sliding that into the rails of the frame.
That's what we did. Was back in 87. Of course, we were running circle track asphalt. And the car that we were starting with was a Monte Carlo, which was great.
Monte Carlo is a very well balanced vehicle,
and it finally got totaled out. So it's like, well, we need to have another car for the next weekend. So the people that I work for, they went up to their junkyard and pulled out a '68 Camaro. And when we got to the racetrack that next weekend, everybody was flipping out because we were racing in street stock class, a '68 Camaro. Well, it's kind of, you can't really do anything else whenever there's no paperwork that says that you should be having that '68 Camaro. And so we made a race car out of it.
I actually had a little car. I don't remember what kind of car it was, but it was a little car. And of course, my neighbor across the road, his grandfather had a Army welder mounted on the back of his truck. And these guys wanted to buy the car, but they wanted to put a roll cage in it, and they were going to use it for demolition derby.
Yeah.
And he says, "Look, you buy the pipes. I'll cut the pipes. I'll weld the pipes. We'll put the car together. We'll do it right here in my yard." So I sold him the car. I think I got like $200 out of it. It wasn't really worth a lot. By the time they got done welding it all up and really reinforcing the crap out of this car, as a demolition derby car, it was great. You could hit that car at 100 miles an hour and it wouldn't hurt the car at all. But because everything weighed so much inside that car, they basically were getting hit by everybody because they couldn't get out of their own way. Yeah, it was funny. I don't remember what the total weight was that he figured out that he welded into this car as far as the whole body frames and all that stuff to reinforce it. But it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah. Well, when I say working, I was a teenager. So I started.
We all were at one point.
Yeah. I started hanging out around there, and the guys were like, look, Since you're here, I'll pay you $15 a week to sweep the floors and clean up. And so, but my uncle gave me a '78 Celica GT and as my first car when I was 15. But I had to build it and do all the body work, paint and everything. The rear quarters were completely rusted out. So there was a Volkswagen Bug sitting over there, and I took the front fenders off of it and cut an 8-inch slip off the front fenders of that Volkswagen Bug and welded it onto the back quarter panels. Well, I had to make a lot of the flat metal up, but put on it which bugged it out. The quarter panels out, so that let me go to wider tires on the back.
Right. Yeah, I ran 40. I ran 40s on my show car.
Yeah, which was a rear engine car back then.
Yep.
And we were building race cars and stuff at the same time. So I took that. I took a 22R engine out of a Toyota truck and started building up. The only carburetor that I could run on to get that engine to run was a Holley 250 double pumper.
Yep. I had that. I had that in my Pontiac Ventura.
Yeah, on 4-barrel.
Yep. Double 4-barrel.
Yeah, and then the only exhaust I could run on, the only muffler I could run on it was cherry bombs. Anything else would just blow it up.
Yeah, too much back pressure.
Yeah, and but that car, well, the speeding ticket I got on that car was 143 miles an hour.
I actually had a '72 Pontiac Ventura, which was based on the Nova bodies.
Well, wait.
But it was a rescue car, and when they were using it as a rescue car, they wanted a posi rear end put into it. So it's just going out of a Trans Am and put that into the back of the Ventura.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what. You want to talk about a car that would go anywhere and do anything? That car was phenomenal. The only thing I didn't like is the lady that I bought the car from was so short that her father took the seats out, put 2x4s in, and then put the seats back in. So my head was like always at the roof level. If you hit a little bump, you're bouncing off the roof.
Oh, so
it was like a headache.
Yep. It was the Amy Leonard car. Is that?
Yeah. It was like an Amy Leonard car.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, think of it. Nova. The great car for Chevy. But all the letters. Named all the different cars that came out the same body style from all the different distributors. You got Nova. It said Nova, the Omega, Ventura, Nonov, Mega.
Oldsmobile. I don't remember which car it was, but Oldsmobile had same body style.
Yeah, but they were all the same car, but the first letter of all of them from different dealers, manufacturers, all spelled out Nova.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that was because the Nova was so popular.
Yeah.
Everybody said, we got to copy it. We got to copy it. We got to copy it. Yep. Yeah, the other one was an Oldsmobile, but I don't remember what the Oldsmobile brand was.
Oldsmobile was the Omega.
Was it the Omega? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
But that's why I cannot stand a Nova, because it was so popular.
Oh, the other one that followed that was Dodge Aspen.
Yeah.
Two-door Dodge Aspen.
Yeah.
I had one of those.
Yeah. That's why
I had the 4-door.
Yeah. That's why I don't, and Johnny Gillum is going to kill me on this because of his race car. It is too much. It's a clone of a Chevelle.
Talking about Johnny Christine?
Yes.
Okay.
And I even had a 71 uh oh shoot. I had a 71 442 Hearst Olds edition. And I just hate them because of the body style. They're all the same.
My favorite with the olds was the old 88 diesel.
Yeah.
Those were awesome.
There was an Oldsmobile that came out. It was front wheel drive, I want to say 78, but that's not.
No, I think it was like closer to like 82.
Probably. But we took one of those, and a guy he was in a wheelchair. He was wheelchair bound, and we actually took a old panel wagon, and we took out the front suspension and motor and everything out of that front wheel drive Oldsmobile, because it was V8 and all that,
Right.
and put it underneath that panel wagon. That way, the two back doors, weld them solid to where it would fold down, and he could roll his wheelchair up into it and roll right underneath the steering column, lock his chair down, and drive it.
Yep.
And put the hand controls.
Hand pedals. Yeah, I actually grew up with a guy. His name was Merlin Reynolds. He was part of the Country Music Association out here, and he had the he had a vehicle. I don't remember what vehicle it was, but it was a wheelchair accessible van where the driver's side door, you walk up and you push a button and the door would fold down, and they could roll his wheelchair up into the thing underneath the seat, and then when he's inside, the minute you started it back up, it would pull that door back up. So it was like a solid ramp with a clear window in it. That window was probably 2 inches thick of glass. It was huge. It was bulletproof.
Yeah.
And everything was operated by paddles. So he had like a he had a paddle on the steering wheel for the gas pedal, and then he had a one right beside the steering wheel that was his brake pedal where he could just push on the lever.
It's like a go-kart.
Yeah.
We did it just like a go-kart where you had the paddle. Everything is right on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
But
this had the brake pedal on the side shaft.
Yeah. I have not been able to keep up with Butt Nugget, which has the best YouTube name in the entire world.
Wait a minute. I cannot do you on that one. Give me just a second. I know right what this.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get caught up before it's already disappearing in the top.
I know right where this one is. I've been saving it. Yeah, let's see what we can get.
Yeah.
Farm fresh. Hot nuggets.
Butt nuggets, yep.
I seen that sign. That's all. I got to buy that. I'm actually gonna put it on my chicken coop sometime here.
Yeah.
I've been giving my eggs away.
Would you just send them to me?
I don't have a refrigerator. I want to buy one of them small like apartment cube refrigerators.
You don't need a refrigerator.
Well, no, I have to wash them.
Well,
they check their poop in on their feet and then stand on the egg. So yeah, they got to be washed.
Catch them earlier before they get more nasty.
I'm gonna kind of change it out.
I can't keep myself in the middle of the camera. But unwashed eggs you keep them on the counter for up to 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in spring with a flat pointed shovel, and I'm gonna go down about probably 2.5 inches of chicken poop and straw and everything that's in their coop now. Yeah. Dig it down, and then I'm gonna start buying. There's a local place I can get hay bales or straw bales for about $6 a piece. So I'm gonna build like a little, like normally I would call it a wood shed. It'd be a roof and a couple walls on it or whatever, and build up off the ground so nothing can go in there. And I'm just gonna buy like probably 5 or 6 of these bales at a time and put them in there. Mm-hmm. So whenever the chicken coop starts getting a little bit on the muddy side, like right now it's really deep mud because of everything. And so I'm gonna get all that cleaned out, and then I'm gonna just go in and like every couple of weeks I'm gonna go in and just drop a new layer of straw down in there. And then when I clean it out again in the following spring or whatever, I can add that to the pile I'm going to take out this time and just keep building it as like a compost pile for my gardens and stuff.
That's what I was going to say. You got the best compost right there. It's hot.
It's hot. Rabbit's the best, but I'm not raising rabbits.
Right.
I raised rabbits when my kids were little, and I'm not doing that again.
Right. But just
it freezes too easy.
Yeah.
Especially here in New York.
Yeah, it does. But make you a couple compost piles out there. That way you can when you clean it out, start there. That way you let
roll it over
for a year and roll it over and
I actually would like to find
that if you wanted to.
I actually would like to find like a subcompact tractor with a bucket on the front.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine had a John Deere one. It was awesome. We used it for ripping out concrete where I work.
Yeah.
We had to tear out the whole apron in the front of the warehouse and put a new one in. And it was everything scrap metal you could imagine. There was like calipers and there was like rotors and all that stuff. There was even wheel hubs in there. Yeah. And they used that as the locker for the original pad. But the pad was built at the wrong angle. So when trucks and trailers back then, they'd always bottom out. So we had to like change it the way it laid out and had to rip it all out. And his little John Deere front end tractor was freaking awesome. He bought it for $3,500. I offered him $3,500 for it the day I seen it. But he was like, I'm never going to sell this. Well, he passed away. So I reached out to his son and I was like, hey, your dad had this John Deere with the front loader on it that I'd really be interested in. I know he paid $3,500 for it. I'm still willing to give you the same $3,500 for it if you can get it to start. And he says, oh, no. Before my dad passed away, he sold that. I says, he did? And he says, yeah, he let it go for $1,500. I was like, I told him the day he bought it, I was going to give him $3,500 for it. That thing was literally picking up concrete slabs that were probably 3 foot by 3 foot square and 8 inches deep with a bunch of steel inside of them that we were having to use angle grinders to cut apart.
All right, gentlemen, I got to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. We've been on 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Really? Imagine that.
So
I'll be honest with you. If I had a recliner that had wheels on it, it'd also have to have like a I don't know, like they call them Uno boards where you can like program them to do different things, like go forward, go backward, turn right, turn left with a joystick to drive it. Because you put me into a recliner, I'm going to be sleeping within 5 minutes. And if I wake up and got to go pee, I'm not going to get up and just start walking away. I'm going to get up. My legs are going to still be asleep and I'm going to be falling on my face. I've done it too many times. But if I could drive it all the way to the bathroom, that would give me time to work my legs a little bit and get them woke up before I get to the toilet.
Actually, Ace just asked me a question, how I got the slime off the seeds last week. I didn't take all the slime off of it.
No, actually, you know what you do with tomato seeds? You get a styrofoam plate. Mm-hmm. You put your seeds on the styrofoam plate and just let them naturally dry because they won't stick to the styrofoam. And then once they're all dried out, they're ready for next year's planting.
Right.
I've seen people use like dish detergent and I've seen people use laundry detergent and all that. You don't want to do that because you destroy the seed.
Right. Actually, what I did, and it's worked well for me in the past. Well, when I took the seeds out, I put them in a very fine
cloth bag.
Very fine strainer or whatever it's called. Fine mesh, wire mesh, and just ran the sprayer over it to get the
like a piece of screen.
To get the pulp off of it.
Yeah, but you don't need to get rid of the pulp. That's the thing. You can let the pulp dry on them.
Not the slime. I got to get the red off of it. The meat.
Oh yeah, the meat. Okay.
Yeah. And,
I never worried about it because by the time I pulled them out of the tomato and put them onto the styrofoam plate, they're just like they're covered in clear slime basically.
Yeah, right. And then I just take it right from there and put it on wax paper and let them dry on the wax paper.
Another thing you can do too that's really cool, Ace, is you can actually take tomato seeds and put them on paper towels. And when they dry to the paper towel. You cannot separate them. But then you can plant that paper towel.
That's what I did last year.
They call it seed tape.
Yeah.
They do it with toilet paper. They do it with paper towels. You just take your seeds and place them out individually, however far you want them apart, and then you just cut strips out of it. So that's your pre-planting of your seed, and just cover it up with dirt, give it some water, and they will grow. And the paper towel actually is the same thing. It's organic. It's made out of dirt, basically.
Yeah, it's just
it came from the tree, and the tree came from the dirt. So
right. That's what I did last year. This year, I'm going to try a couple different things. I still got.
I've done the same thing too with cucumber seeds.
Right. I've still got these that I'm going to
process
take the seeds on. So it's
those are what, large red cherry?
I have no idea. No. Evidently they cross-pollinated.
Okay.
And because all the seeds came from one tomato that I planted this year, and there are so many different. Even actually the one really big one that had the ribs, and so somehow they've cross-pollinated. But I'm experimenting on different ways to save the seeds. This year.
I played with a guy a couple of years back. Well, actually, it's 7 years ago. Actually, probably close to 11 years ago now, where he had zucchini plants planted in his garden, and they cross-pollinated with a neighbor's squash. So rather than just being like what they call black zucchini, which is like dark green,
right,
his actually had these yellow stripes going up them, and they looked cool as crap.
Right.
So I said to him, I says, dude, I want to buy 2 of your squash from you. And he's like, why? I says, because I want the seeds. And he's like, why do you want the seeds? They're just zucchini squash seeds. And I says, no, they're not. They've cross-pollinated, so the seeds are going to be the mother plant now. And your mother plant now is not black zucchini. It changed.
Yeah.
And I grew them. I think I saved like 40 seeds out of them. And I planted 10 of them one year, and I just put the rest of them in a dark spot in a drawer and said, they'll be there for next year.
Yeah.
And each year I had the coolest looking zucchini. Some of them were dark green with really bright yellow stripes. Some of them were dark green with almost white stripes. And some of them were dark green with really light green stripes. They looked cool as crap, and they were never all the same. Even on the same plant, they were different.
Right.
And I was like, saving seeds.
That's how these work. They all came off the same plant. Where there was 3 plants, but you could tell.
I tell people all the time, cross-pollination, that's one of the big things about like where I'm at. I'm in farm country, right?
Yeah.
If I grow corn, my corn is going to be cross-pollinated with the corn growing around me.
Yeah.
And it's almost a 900% guarantee that corn is going to be GMO, which means that I have to worry about places that like all the big GMO companies like Bayer and all them can come in and claim my corn is theirs because it cross-pollinates. It's the same thing with soybeans. We have to buy our soybeans out of a special place in Utah where there are no soybean fields or any trucks going by their house with soybeans on them within 100-yard mile radius.
Yeah.
Because they are organic soybean seeds.
Yeah.
If a truck drives down the road with soybeans on it, the pollen flies off of those seeds onto your plants, and now you've got GMO soybeans.
Right.
So they had to pick an area where it's like 100-mile radius all the way around the farms where they grow everything organic and nothing non-organic is allowed to go by that property anywhere near it.
That's the same way that my landlord, his family's farm, which they own the greenhouse right here on the other side of the Mexican restaurant, and they grow their corn, and they sell their corn, their radius that they sell it. Of course, they got to have thousands of acres. Is from Bristol, Tennessee, all the way down next to Mayberry, North Carolina, up next to Richmond, Virginia, and further on up in West Virginia. But like you said, their seeds all come from, and they're under contract. All the seed corn comes from
Yeah, Monsanto, Bayer, and another one that are all GMO.
no. Because they're the only ones in the United States that are licensed to grow this type of corn. It comes from Sweden, which is a sweet corn, and and they grow it, and they drive everything is sold out of the back of trucks alongside the interstate. And
I actually laughed because I didn't know this, but you know the Vidalia sweet Vidalia onions you buy at the store. They can only legally be grown in one region of Georgia.
In
the soil is super sandy.
In Vidalia,
the soil is super sandy, and they have a lot of sulfur in the soil, and that's the only place that these can be grown and use the name Vidalia.
Yes.
Because they're nothing more than just a sweet Spanish onion.
Yeah, you're right. I used to live right beside there, but I tell you what, next year,
I can't remember the name of the town, but it was like Catheter, Georgia, or something like that.
Yeah. But that's the only place they can only be called Vidalia onions if
in that region.
That region.
Yep. But sweet Spanish onions are the exact same thing. You can grow them anywhere.
Yeah.
You just can't name them Vidalia.
Yeah.
We were selling Vidalia onion seeds out of that area, and because we were selling them all over the U.S., they told us we can't use the name Vidalia in the name of them. They have to be grown there to be Vidalia. And I was like, are you freaking serious? I was paying extra money.
That was a big lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But actually, next year, what I'm going to do was some of these tomato plants in a little controlled area. I'm going to take the seeds, put all the seeds together. It's bullshit. I don't do they got to be spaced this far apart and stuff like that.
Right.
I just mixed up the seeds, like you said, and the seed tape. Yep. But I'm going to mix them like we used to do when we was kids growing up. My grandparents would actually put hot pepper seeds in with the seeds.
With the tomato?
With the tomato.
Really?
And you get a hot tomato.
Yeah. You know what I found really cool? Not this last year, but the year before last, I bought what was called the cool jalapeno. Or the jalapeno. It tastes like a jalapeno pepper. It looks like a jalapeno pepper, but it doesn't have the heat.
Right.
We're called jalapenos. Well, I came across the plant of those, and I was like, oh, I got to grow it. So we grew them, and they were so good. I like a jalapeno pepper, but I don't so much care for. I mean, if I'm going to do like stuffed jalapeno peppers with cream cheese or something like that, the heat's pretty good. But to do it with a jalapeno, oh my God, it was even 20 times better.
I need some of those seeds because I can't eat with my throat surgery. What says it right here, all from the surgery I just had. I can't have any of that spicy stuff. So I bet I would love something like that.
I don't know where you could probably buy them online, but I would say that your best bet would be, if you're looking for something like that, would be try eBay.
Okay.
Just type in jalapeno.
Yeah.
Rather than jalapeno.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody there would sell seeds. I'll be honest with you. If they do, they're going to be expensive. But each pepper will put out like 110 to 150 seeds.
Right. Well,
so you'll always have seeds available.
I don't grow anything that I can't save the seed for the next year.
Yep. We actually got into doing what do they call them? What do they call that? They're a pepper seed where the peppers grow straight up on the stalk, and they go from yellow to orange to red to purple.
Right.
It's an ornamental pepper.
Okay.
every ornamental pepper plant, even though they don't say it's edible, is a chili pepper.
Yeah.
And debating on what color of the stage that actual pepper gets to is how hot the chili pepper gets to be.
Okay.
The yellow is the coolest. The purple is the hottest. The red's the normal that you would buy if you went to the grocery store.
Right.
The purple is what they call fire chili. That stuff, I mean, we're talking that will burn you up. But those peppers are only, I don't know, an inch and a quarter tall.
Yeah.
And they all grow straight off the top of the plant and they fill out the whole plant. So it looks like a really cool plant, and they're all at different stages all the time it's growing. So you always have all these different colors growing.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Well, you know, so I found out I can eat yellow tomatoes.
Yellow, yeah, because yellow's got less acid.
But I cannot eat any red tomatoes.
If you add a little bit of sugar to them, it'll take away the
sugar or
acidity. Yeah, it'll take away the acidity of them.
Yeah.
When I was a kid growing up, my dad used to grow these like really big beefsteak tomatoes out in the garden that were probably 6 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
And my mom would slice them up, put them on a plate, and then just sprinkle sugar across all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, this is your side dish for your dinner tonight, or one of them.
What's growing up at you all? Well, especially breakfast. You didn't have breakfast without slices of tomatoes.
We actually had sliced tomato and cheese omelets.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that. And it didn't matter what tomatoes were used. It could be cherry tomatoes that were sliced up. It could be regular red tomatoes sliced up. It could be yellow ones. It could be like the some of the what do they call it? The Cherokee purple. Those were always really good.
I used to love Cherokee purples. That was actually my favorite tomato.
Cherokee purple makes for a heck of a tomato sandwich because it's got the real flavor. It's not like when you go to the store and you buy a tomato.
Yeah.
No, even like the Roma paste tomatoes you buy at the store, those aren't the real Roma paste tomatoes. I mean, they're real, but if you want to go for something like that, there's another one out there. It's called San Marzano.
Yeah.
That's what all your big tomato sauce companies uses.
And I tell you, another favorite tomato of mine was the
Black
mortgage lifters. Mortgage
lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black Krim are good too, but you can't tell when they're ripe.
Right. Yeah.
They're green, they're black, and they're red, and you're like, yeah, I don't know if it's ripe yet or not.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't.
It's not a canning tomato. You can't use it for canning, but as far as slicing up to put it on something, they're good.
Yeah, actually, Brett, you can mince the jalapeno. And I actually found that I think it's Real Tree Dollar Store, but I'm not real positive on that. For like $1 a box, they sell the jalapeno poppers where it's just chopped up jalapenos mixed with the cheese. Rather than whole jalapeno filled with the cheese, it's just parts of the jalapeno. Yeah. Those aren't too bad. But again, I'm the kind of guy that if I'm eating something like that, I need to have my marinara sauce to dip them in or something like that.
Right. Yeah. But David, I sent your information to the vendor chicks. Maybe I need to send you their information to you. That way, maybe you could reach out to them and say, because they're great girls and everything, and a lot of people that are part of their survival seed challenge that they do once a year.
Right.
And
we actually used to deal with a survivor group, and they hooked me up with the South Georgia Seed Company. Mm-hmm. And South Georgia Seed Company would sell you all these packages of seeds, and you could put them into an ammo can where it's like watertight and airtight. Yeah. And so I was buying these big seed kits from them, but I made a deal with them. I says, the only label you can put on those seeds that go inside of that kit is the name of the variety that you put into it. It can't have your business name or any other information onto it.
Yeah.
And they did it. They did it. So we were selling the survival seed kit ammo boxes for a long time. Right. I had to quit doing it because it was so unpredictable of how many we would sell. I mean, they'll sit in that ammo can for 10 years and still be viable seeds.
Well, that's like, I got it. I don't know how good it is.
Right, you're looking for feta cheese if you want goat cheese.
Yep. But I don't know how good it is, but it's just something I have that
Okay.
just in case.
Is that a paint can or does it have a plastic top?
It's a number 10 can. It's got a plastic top on it.
Okay.
But it is sealed
Okay,
up.
it's sealed. Yeah. Yeah, as long as it's sealed like that, or like a paint can, no oxygen and no light can get to them, and no moisture can get to them. They'll be fine for probably up to 10 years.
Yeah. Well, it's just something I have just in case.
Yeah, there's a lot of survival seed companies that are doing that, and what we used to do too when we bought them in the Mylar packs.
Right. Yeah.
Because Mylar doesn't let anything through. There's no oxygen, no air, no light.
Yeah.
But we put them into the ammo cans and put special labels on the ammo cans just to make them look cool, and then bought special boxes to ship them out on. We sold a lot of them. And North Georgia Seed Company or South Georgia Seed, South Georgia Seed, they were really cool to work with. But it's an Amish family, and they didn't always have the same varieties in every one. Well, that makes it hard for me because I got to put a list in there of what seeds are in that ammo can.
Yep.
Even though they're in Mylar.
Yep. David, can you screenshot what you're looking at? Like we're now.
What's that?
You know what? This is the girls. There you go.
Survival Seeds collab.
Yeah.
I can't screenshot it, but I just wrote it down.
Okay. I have learned the girl that shit, I lost the wheel on my chair. Anyway. That makes life fun.
He's been drinking. He almost tripped in his chair.
Yeah. But no, the girl, the three girls. It's Bunky, Trey, and Kayla. They started this little collab a couple years ago, to where they actually started gifting out seeds.
Okay.
To other YouTubers and stuff. And the only thing they asked, and they would send them seeds, but they would have to show when they planted the seeds all season long, do little videos of videos from when they planted them all year long, how the process, how they're doing with them, and at the end of the year, what you've done with those seeds,
right?
And well, what you've harvested from seeds, and then the last one is basically what you use them for, whether canning or cooking or anything. And like Bunky is the youngest one. She's the one that taught me how to do it. 10 years old.
Okay.
The Kayla is the oldest one, which I think she's 20 years old now. And then Trey, the middle one, she's 16. And they all started, their parents has like a small little family vineyard and stuff. But when the two oldest girls, whenever they were little kids, they wanted chickens. So they saved up and bought chickens and started producing their own eggs. And from there, they took the egg money and started to make their own little garden things.
Right.
And so they built up, and they're musicians too on the side. And they've done so much. And year before last, they thought, well, we might get 15 or 20 people involved in a collab. And now it's over thousands of people.
Right. That's cool.
And the companies have came in and to donate products and stuff. So during the growing season, every weekend they do giveaways and stuff. Jesse and Lisa, Lazy Days Ahead,
Okay.
are involved with them, and there's a couple more people. It's turned into something big.
All right. That's something I've been doing too. I'll show you this one. We get approached every year for seed giveaways for libraries,
At the
schools.
library.
We get libraries and schools and all these places. This year's been the major maybe. We did one for a local library in Moravia, which is probably 35, 40 miles from my house. I gave them some seeds to start their seed library in the library.
Right.
And somehow all these libraries talk to each other. I've gotten hit by probably 25 of them. But this one right here is one that I grabbed onto. It's called Many Seeds. That's
Okay.
the library. Doing a seed swap, rummage sale kind of thing.
Yeah.
Free seeds. And this is their logo. I can show it. Right there you go. That one
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Friends of the Library, Jefferson Public Library. And they wanted me to donate some seeds. And I said, yeah, I can do that. But I told Leah, I said, well, there's a special one to go with this. And she said, what's that? And I said, well, we have these smaller labels that we put on for like, thank you, repeat customer. There's 30 on a sheet. And their logo will fit perfect on that label.
Okay.
So I told her, I says, we will do this. Our name and everything else we do goes on the front label. But on the back of every label that we give away through this library giveaway, their label has to be on the back of every package. So people will remember where they got them from. Not who they got them from, but where they got them from.
Right.
To support the library.
Right.
The one we did in Moravia, we didn't do anything special for them. We gave them our own name brand and everything else, but we gave them one package of every package of seeds we sell, which is like 360, I think.
Right.
And they were like, "Oh, we got them already sorted." They had them sorted out faster than we had them packaged.
Yeah.
In alphabetical order in a library file cabinet. You know what I'm saying? And the deal was that how much garden space do you have, and how many seeds do you need to actually grow in that garden space? If you've got a 4x4 bed, you're not getting 4 tomato plants.
Yeah.
You may only get one to put in the center, and maybe, some like Swiss chard or something else, or maybe some carrots and beets to put around the outside, because you don't have that much room to grow in your bed.
Right.
So they're doing that is like, okay, well, what size garden bed do you have? You actually have to measure your bed before you go ask for seeds. And then they'll base it on how big is your bed and what do you want to grow and how many of these seeds do you actually need. And they're separating them out of the packages and putting them into another package going, okay, well, this is this is that. And they're just handwriting on all the little packages they're using. So they're using like little, I call them the mailbox payment envelopes. They're manila. They're real small.
Yeah.
Before I started the seed business, I actually did a seed giveaway, and I went through 10,000 of those packages.
Yeah.
And we didn't even bother sealing them. We just put 20 up marigold seeds into it. Take a business card that was made that said, compliments of the Moffat family or whatever, staple the business card, and that would hold the envelope shut, put it in their envelope, mail it back to them. And it was my landlord that said, hey, how many of these have you given away? And I said, we're going up to 10,000 and we're stopping. Mm-hmm. He says, just imagine what your bank account would look like if everybody gave you $1.
Exactly. Yeah.
That afternoon, Dollar Seed was born.
Yeah. Well, see, Ace just dropped the Vineyard Chicks channel.
Yep, I see it.
See, they didn't know what they were doing. They just
starting out trying an idea
and everything, and they, of course, there's a couple other people.
I'm listening.
What's his name? At H. I know Brian at no, it wasn't Brian at Vineyard Farms. He does the herbal side of seeds. So he was donating the herbal seeds, but they're just they're just learning out how last year a lot of seeds didn't make it through because they were sending the seeds that they had and was not making it through the mail service because a lot of them was crushed or
Yeah, that's an issue.
through. Yeah, but I told them a couple weeks ago I haven't joined their collab yet, and I told them because I took this year off to work on my health.
Right.
But I told them next year I'm definitely going to be joining the collab that they have. But other
Nice.
than them, the other person that all my seeds will be whatever they have, but the other person will be a really good buddy of mine who went out of their way to come from New York to West Virginia to pick me up to go to Oklahoma, who happens to own a seed company business,
Right.
David Moffat.
Well, there's two tricks to sending seeds through the United States Post Office.
Yeah.
One is to put them in a padded envelope because if the envelope is a half-inch thick, which most of them are before you put anything in them,
Yeah.
that's one of them. The other one is if you put it in a regular envelope, right hand canceled on the envelope. That means it can't be run through the stamp machine.
Why?
If they run it through the machine, that's what crushes the seeds.
Right. David, let me ask you this favor.
Okay.
If you can get a hold of them and give them any what's it called?
Advice?
Any advice that you can,
Okay.
I would appreciate it.
Okay. I actually found that the cheapest place to buy padded envelopes from, regardless of size, is through Amazon because I can get them through Amazon cheaper than I can get through Uline or any of these other places.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have no idea anything about that.
Right. Yeah, you can get them all sizes.
Yeah, but them girls, they're just so teenagers that tried this, and they're exploding.
Yeah. Well, that's the part that counts. You have to have an idea. Like my landlord put the idea in my head for dollar seed. I didn't come up with it. I had no intentions of doing it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But he was right. He's like, oh, you gave away 10,000. Imagine what your bank account would look like if everybody gave you $1. Would they give me $1? Well, probably, absolutely, they do. They get their. Yeah. Some of them gave me money.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so.
Well, that's the thing about it is, if we can teach these young kids
how to make a go of it.
Not only how to make a go of it, to better. They're wanting to better other people. It's
right.
Not about themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It should never be about yourself.
Right.
When I first started, that was my thing: is what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to be selling seeds to the average gardener or maybe small homesteader, right?
Yeah.
Well, how many seeds does a small homesteader need? We're selling 110 tomato seeds for a freaking $1, or we were. Now it's $1.15. It'll be $1.25 soon.
Right. Yeah.
But that's still cheap. You go to eBay or someplace like that, or even on Etsy and buy your tomato seeds. You're probably going to get 25 seeds for $4.
Right.
And then pay outrageous shipping to get them. So our goal has always been like, what's the average normal person going to grow? Well, 110 tomato seeds is not the average person.
Right. Yeah.
You know, neither is 1,000 oregano seeds, but because of the size of the seed and the way we package them, it just makes sense to say, okay, this is how many pretty much is going to be in each package, because we package by volume rather than by weight. That's one big thing I always hated. Mm-hmm. If you go to like these bigger places that sell seeds, they'll tell you, okay, well, in this package you get 2.3 grams. Well, how many seeds are in 2.3 grams? You don't know. And they come in paper packages, so you can't even see the quality of the seed or anything else about it.
Exactly.
So we package in clear plastic bags so you can actually see the quality of the seeds. You can open it up, you can take out what you want, you can close it back up, put it in a dark space out of moisture, and they're there for next year again. And most seeds are good for 5 years.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to grow them yourself, you can share them with your friends, your neighbors, your family, or whatever, you know. I mean,
well, with this going into their third year, it's like the first year is like they picked what they thought would be great plants to grow for your homestead and everything.
That's how I do it.
And then this last year, from people putting in their info, well, that wasn't really really good. And then they learn is like, well, now there's different grow zones.
Yeah.
So it's not it's
Well,
not just a
anything I can grow in New York. If anything I can grow in New York, you can grow in West Virginia, or they could grow in Florida. The only difference is, in Florida, what I grow in the springtime, they probably want to grow in the fall.
Well, see, they're in Michigan. It's done they've done went international.
Okay.
So it's and other people have volunteered to join in to be like moderators for each different grow zones.
All right.
So and it's like so now this year now they're wanting they're taking suggestions for next year, but now they're getting divided in as all right. What grow zones are you in? How can we deal with your grow zones? So
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't understand this too. Is they just changed the grow zones.
yes, and which
That was like the most stupid thing that they when they did it. They should have done it 20 years ago.
yeah,
Because
but
the weather's
actually,
been changing so much. But they left it alone for 20 extra years, and then all of a sudden they said, "Okay, well, we're going to change the grow zone you're in." We used to be in zone 5. Now we're like 6A or 6B.
what's like now? I think I'm like 7,
Yeah,
8.
yeah, you're probably 7.
But
Maybe
it-
7,
it-
7,
it's
7B.
yeah, it's not working. I can go back what it was, and everything's working fine. But what they moved it to is just not working. So
Well, they claimed it was because of climate change.
there you go. You had
I'm sorry. It wasn't climate change. It had a different name first. It was called global warming.
Yeah.
And I laughed about it when it came up with that name, global warming. There were so many videos where they were talking about global warming, and I was just typing in there going, "I live in New York.
Mm-hmm.
By December 1st of every year, we have some snow,
Yeah.
and until April 1st of every year, we still have some snow.
Yeah.
Each year changes. It's not always the same amount. But you're talking about global warming. We're talking like 1992 or 93." Somewhere around, or no, 91.
Yeah.
They were talking about global warming, something fierce. And I'm going, what if all this global warming is true, why is New York buried in 4.5 foot of snow?
Exactly. But
That's not warming. Last year was warmer.
You got you're old enough. You're about my age. How many things have they talked about? Well, you can't have aerosol spray cans. No more hairspray.
Yep. You're destroying the ozone layer.
Yeah, and it's one right after another.
Well, the thing is, if you look at a weather study, every 12 years is a cycle.
Yes.
During that 12-year period, you'll probably have 2 years, like 91 was, and actually, not last year, but the year before last was pretty bad. Yeah. And then you get the other years where you get a little bit of snow, but you don't get that much. Last year, I think I had my whole driveway plowed twice. I've already had my driveway plowed twice this year.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I don't see it being done again within the next week, but I think within the next month, I'll probably see it 2 or 3 more times again.
Yeah.
You know,
well, they say,
I'm not saying it's going to be a bad year, but I'm not saying it's going to be a great year. But in the same respect, every year is a little bit different. But if you go back and look at the history of the weather, it's always within the 12-year cycle. There's always 2 years that are really bad. And then the rest of them some of them are really, really super mild, and some of them are medium.
Yeah.
This year, I think it's going to be the medium year. Last year was super mild. Last year was awesome.
Right. Yeah.
I liked last winter.
Yeah.
The winter before that, I hated it.
Other than we still have to deal with the bugs until we get a cold winter.
Yeah, well, that's
That
typical.
is part of the life cycle. It's going to happen. Why is the coal in West Virginia so good? Like the heat.
Because the air is clean.
Well, no. Definitely not. But actually, because at one time, the Appalachian Mountains was a tropical region.
Brett, we used to all sell oregano, except for some of us were smart enough and added in some seeds to make it look like it was something else.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that one. I'm nothing about all that, and we'll go from there.
People used to smoke spices instead of eat them. I actually had a sign that I created one time that said something about "Welcome to Grandma's Kitchen," where we cook with herbs and not smoke them.
We went over on the mountain of my family's home place, which has been in our family since the late 1700s. And of course, my grandmother grew up over there. My dad was born over there, and we was all walking around over there when we was kids, and seen this one plant there, and it's like my grandmother's. Oh yeah, I know that plant. We used to smoke that when we was kids. It was called Forget Me Not. Granny, you were getting high.
Yeah. Oh. And it wasn't a forget me not, it was you forgot the name is what it was. You got too old, Grandma. Well, I remember back in the days when they grew hemp.
Yeah.
Which is part of the same plant family. It's just the male plant.
Yeah, that's what it was.
The male plant won't get you high, the female does.
Right.
But all these guys grew all these hemp plants. And it was actually required by the government for some farmers for a while to grow hemp plants because they used it for the ropes for the Navy. They used it for the uniform for the military.
Well,
I mean, what is it? Willie Harrelson? Is that his name? I know Harrelson's right. I don't know about the Willie part. But that guy wears suits made out of it. Woody Harrelson. Yeah, he wears suits made out of it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, they're sharp looking suits.
I have hemp clothes.
Do you?
Yes. And
it's very strong. It's very reliable. I mean, come on, they used it for Navy ropes for crying out loud.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they said, no, we're going to stop it because we're banning marijuana. Well, marijuana is one plant. Hemp is it's the same family, but it's a total different plant.
Yes. Yeah.
We had like a local marijuana farm going from my house into the town. And my neighbor across the road, he was, probably pushing 90 years old or 80, late 80s. And he said to me one day, he come over and he says, hey, I got a question for you. And I said, what's that? And he says, is that marijuana they're growing there at that farm? I said, I don't know. It looks like it could be, but it could also be hemp. Let me stop and look at it. So I drove down the road. I pulled over on side the road. I got out. I walked over. Well, there was buds on that plant like this.
Right.
Hemp doesn't grow buds. It's a male plant. It can't.
No.
What do people smoke? The buds. And I looked at it and said, yeah, no, those are definitely marijuana plants. He says, why are they growing it that close to the road without getting arrested? And I said, because New York State made it legal for some people to grow it.
Yeah.
And they were actually selling it to a local area where they were selling CBD oil. You can't get CBD oil out of a hemp plant because it doesn't have any oil in it. You got to use the original plant.
Yeah.
And they opened a local factory. I mean, real local factory. It used to be a wood yard, and now it's a local hemp or local CBD oil factory. And what they do is after they get done pressing all the oils out of the marijuana, is they burn it to keep the plant warm.
Yeah.
So the whole neighborhood smells like somebody's getting high all the time.
Yeah. I gotta go really quick. I'll be right back.
All right, go water that horse.
Yeah. And it's
I've had to do it myself.
It's probably going to be another Shetland.
Well, don't sit on it. Well, guys, we've been around and around and around the world today, and we got like 13 minutes left to go before we've been on for 3 hours. So when Troy comes back, we will probably start working on trying to close this out one more time. Greg dropped out at 9 o'clock, so I think we'll probably drop out at 10. I'm not worried about it. To be honest with you, it doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't matter how long we're on for or what we talk about or anything else, because as far as I'm concerned, we're all adults here and it doesn't matter. So if anybody has any other topics they'd like to have us discuss, we can. One of the topics I would like to say is, if you watch my channel, HalfAss Homestead, there has been an awful lot of music being put out lately. And if there's any songs on there you want to use on your own channel or anything like that, don't be afraid to reach out to me. Right here's my email address right at the bottom of the screen, along with my mail-in address. And if you want to reach out to me and say, hey, I'd like to have that song to play on my channel, I can send you the unedited, unvideo version of it. It's just a straight up song. I've done it with Gary. I've done it with Mary and her daughter. I've done it with quite a few people. I did it with Troy. I've done it with a lot of people, but there's a lot of songs on there. And speaking of that, Troy, I think we're going to probably get ready to call this one tonight.
I kind of figured that.
And I think I'm going to finish this one out with a song that I wrote for these Saturday night chats.
Sounds great, brother. Love you,
all
man.
Right.
And all y'all.
Here we go.
Every Saturday night, we gather around a little town bar or someone's house here in town. We talk about life, the highs and the lows, but we skip over the things that make us foes. We talk about just near anything, laughing about the little things. Leave religion at the door, but we'll pray for you. Politics might sneak in when the world ain't true, but mostly it's just friends, me and you. Talk about work and the times we missed, old friends, new laughs, things we can't resist. The funny things people say, the craziest sights. Life's better when it's shared every Saturday night. We talk about just near anything, laughing about the little things. Leave religion at the door, but we'll pray for you. Politics might sneak in when the world ain't true, but mostly it's just friends, me and you. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, don't be late. Come for the fun and leave a little late. Life's too short, don't you know? Gather around, let the good times flow. We talk about just near anything, laughing about the little things. Leave religion at the door, but we'll pray for you. Politics might sneak in when the world ain't true, but mostly it's just friends, me and you. Saturday nights, they feel so right. A little laughter, a little light. So join us now, it's time to begin. Every Saturday night, let's all jump in.